Damien Blackwood gently caressed Lena's face. Promise me, Lena. Promise you'll never say things like that again. Lena turned her head away, her silence a wall. Her mind flashed back to that night. The night he'd appeared at her bridal suite, drenched in blood. Damien? What happened to you? Lena, still in her wedding gown, sat on the crimson duvet, her eyes wide with terror. He had walked slowly toward her, took her hand, and pressed a deep, soulful kiss to the back of it. No one could take you from me. Not even my father. You're insane. Lena's pupils contracted, her trembling finger pointing at the dark stains splattering his suit. That blood. Don't tell me. It's my father's, Damien said, his face a placid mask. He and I were on our way to pick you up, but there was a car accident. He paused, pressing a hand to his forehead and looking up at the ceiling. Father had such bad luck. The truck hit the driver's side directly. That's the only reason I survived. His shoulders began to shake, a pantomime of grief. But from Lena's perspective, he looked like a demon from hell, his mouth stretched wide in a silent, monstrous grin. It's all because of this damned family alliance, he continued, leaning in until his lips were a breath from hers, touching them lightly. If he had just given you to me, Lena, he might not have left the house today and met such a tragic end. Do you have any idea how much I love you? I'm just a sacrificial pawn for your family, she'd whispered, her voice hollow. What did I ever do to deserve having a father and son fight over me? No. His eyes burned with a suffocating, possessive fire. In my eyes, you are my beloved. You are unique. He took a strand of her silky hair, bringing it to his nose and inhaling deeply. My Lena, so delicious. And just like that, he had imprisoned her in the villa. Her only human contact was the silent staff who managed the estate. Beyond the sprawling grounds, there was nothing for miles. Until one day, the girl's eyes were squeezed shut, a low groan escaping her lips as if she were enduring some great pain. After a moment, her breathing evened out. Damien kissed the pale column of her neck, his lips leaving a trail of dark red marks, a constellation of hickeys. Lena felt like a caged bird, her freedom stripped away, subjected to his terrifying whims. Lena, I love you so much, Damien murmured, propping himself up to gaze at the beauty on the bed. We'll be together forever, okay? She turned her head away, her lips sealed. Damien seemed accustomed to the gesture and didn't get angry. He simply laid down beside her, pulling her fiercely into his arms. Don't worry, Lena. Time will prove everything. I'll wait. I'll wait for the day you finally accept me. His words sparked something in her. An idea. A desperate, sharp-edged plan. She spoke softly, her voice barely a whisper. Damien. What? He grabbed her shoulders, shaking her with a sudden, violent hope. What did you just call me? Damien. Yes. I'm here. He trembled with excitement, kissing her forehead. Lena, does this mean you accept me? She lifted her head, her gaze meeting his. The emptiness that usually haunted her eyes was gone, replaced by a crystal clarity. Her pale blue irises seemed to pull him under. You said you would love me, right? Of course. Lena, if you don't believe me, I'll rip my heart out for you right now. He produced a small knife from nowhere, raising it toward his own chest. Lena intercepted his hand. Go ahead, you psycho, she thought with cold cynicism. Do it. You're moving so slowly. You're practically begging me to stop you. But she couldn't let him see that. She manufactured a look of pure anguish. Don't, Damien. I know your heart. Okay. He slicked the knife away with practiced ease, his manic energy vanishing as quickly as it had appeared. He gazed at her, his expression softening into one of adoration. Lena, are you finally willing to accept me? Your love. It's moved me, Damien, she said, forcing a smile that felt like swallowing glass. Besides, what choice do I have? It's not like I can refuse now that you and I have already. Damien hugged her, resting his chin on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Lena, he whispered. I just love you so much I can't control myself. I hope you can forgive me. Lena pinched his cheek, her fingers itching to slap him into next week. I really want to kill you. Of course I forgive you. But, she lowered her head, feigning worry. What is it, Lena? Tell me. I'll do anything for you. I've been in this villa for almost half a year. She looked out the window at a bird soaring past, her face a mask of longing. No, Lena, you can't go anywhere. You absolute moron. She screamed at her head. I haven't even finished my sentence. Did I say I was leaving? Not yet, anyway. She placed her index finger on his lips, silencing him. What I was going to say was, would you walk with me in the garden? Just outside the villa. Oh, is that all? Damien visibly relaxed. Of course, no problem. Anywhere you want to go, Lena, I'll be with you. Which she translated to, no matter where you are on this earth, I will dig 3 feet into the ground to find you. Great. Then, Damien, can we go now? Ouch. A sharp pain shot through her finger. She looked down to see Damien had opened his mouth and bitten down. What are you, a dog? She yanked her finger out of his mouth, fighting to keep her composure. Calm down, Lena. Just pretend a stray bit you. She linked her arm with his, resting her head on his shoulder and subtly wiping her finger on his sleeve. Damien, can we go now? Of course, my love. A smirk played on his lips as he pulled a key from his pocket, unlocked the bedroom door, and they walked out, shoulder to shoulder. The cigarette burned out, the last wisp of smoke disappearing into the night. It had barely been smoked. Damien Blackwood shifted his gaze from the road ahead, closed the window of his car, and pressed down on the accelerator. What? You're leaving today? Claire White slammed her hand on the dining table, her expression stern. Well, my old college buddy, Leo King, called. He said he needs my help with something back on campus, Ethan White said with a lame grin. Sorry, Leo. You're my scapegoat for this one. Absolutely not, Claire said, her tone final. You and Lily just got here. You have to stay for at least a little while longer. Mom, I don't have a choice. I can't just stand at my friend. Then stand him up, Claire said, frowning at him. Ethan, are you tired of your parents already? Before he could answer, she covered her face and began to sob dramatically. Oh, our son is all grown up. He won't even listen to his own mother and father anymore. Mom, if you're going to fake cry, at least cover your eyes. The fact that they're wide open and staring right at me is kind of killing the effect. Mark, seeing the performance, just rustled his newspaper and continued reading, completely unfazed. Claire, getting no reaction from her husband, reached over and viciously pinched the flesh at his waist. Honey, say something. Oof. Mark sat up straight, his back aching. He adjusted his glasses and shot Ethan a quick, meaningful wink. Yes, your mother's right. You should stay a few more days. All right, I guess. Ethan turned to Lily with a helpless shrug. But Lily stepped forward and whispered something in Claire's ear. Claire's eyes instantly lit up. She scurried to Ethan's bedroom, grabbed his suitcase, and tossed it at him. Before he could even catch it, she was pushing him out the front door. Ethan was utterly bewildered. Mom? What are you? Son, no time to explain. Claire dashed around the room, gathering all their things, packing them hastily, and shoving them out the door after him. Ethan stared dumbfounded. What is happening? A minute ago, she wouldn't let me leave, and now she's practically kicking me out. Once everything was packed, Claire pulled a credit card from her purse and pressed it into Lily's hand. Lily, you report back to me, you hear? Use this card for whatever you need. If it's not enough, you call me. Lily nodded, covering her mouth to hide a giggle as she glanced at a completely baffled Ethan. I will, Mom. You can count on me. Wonderful, wonderful. Claire's face was beaming. Then she turned a stern glare on Ethan. Son, you take good care of Lily, you hear me? If anything happens to her, I'm holding you responsible. Ethan's jaw dropped. Is this the same mother who was so excited to see me just a few days ago? Well, Mom, we'll get going, Lily said, linking her arm through Ethan's and leading him away. Slam. The door closed behind them. Claire's hand, which had been waving in the air, slowly fell to her side. Sigh. Ethan's really grown up. He's not the little boy who used to follow me around begging to be held. Mark finally put down his newspaper. People change. The words were barely out of his mouth when a hand seized his ear. Ow, ow, ow. Honey, what are you doing? Speaking of which, I have a bone to pick with you. Why didn't you try harder to convince him to stay? Honey, didn't you just kick him out? Was I really trying to kick him out? Claire huffed. If Lily hadn't said. Walking down the street, Ethan looked over at Lily. Okay, what did you say to my mom? Why did she suddenly do a complete 180? Lily covered one of his ears with her hand, her lips moving close. I told her, she whispered, that the next time we visit, I'll be bringing our child to see them. Before he could process it, she bit his earlobe gently. Siash. Child. That's right. So, do you want a boy or a girl? Ethan's face turned bright red. Can I have one of each? So greedy, Ethan, she purred, letting go and snuggling against him. But I suppose it's not entirely out of the question. For now, though, I don't want a baby. I want you all to myself. Okay. I'm all yours for my whole life, Ethan said, his voice full of doting affection. After a short drive, they arrived at the airport. Ethan walked up to the ticket counter. Hi, are there any flights from Tokyo to the U.S. today? The agent nodded, typing on her computer. There's one flight to Portland departing at 4 p.m. in about 2 hours. There are still seats available. How many will you need? 2. Got it. Will that be card or cash? Ethan was about to pull out his wallet when Lily held up the card his mom had given her. Ethan, Mom gave me this before we left. Why don't we use it? You silly girl. Ethan smiled and gave her a gentle flick on the forehead. You keep that. It was a gift from Mom to you. He paid for the tickets with his own card. Seeing Lily rubbing her head and pouting, he couldn't help but laugh. You jerk, laughing at me. In front of the agent, Lily grabbed Ethan's collar, pulled him down, and tilted her head up to kiss him full on the lips. The ticket agent's hands flew to her face, pretending not to see, but the wide gaps between her fingers betrayed her. MMPH Lily. Probably because they were in public, she let go quickly, a mischievous smile on her face. That's your punishment for laughing at me. After a bit more playful bickering, they sat down in the waiting area. Saying she was tired, Lily rested her head on Ethan's lap. He tried several times to shift her position, but she would always unconsciously turn back towards him. Finally giving up, Ethan just stared out at the bustling terminal to pass the time. Just then, a figure strode past. Ethan's eyes focused on a middle-aged man in a well-tailored suit walking slowly toward the lounge. Ethan was struck by the man's profile. That person. He looks. Perhaps sensing the stare, the man turned his head reflexively. A sharp, piercing gaze shot toward Ethan. The sheer force of his presence made Ethan quickly turn away, pretending to look at something else, but bone-deep chill crawled up his spine, like being plunged into an icy cavern. The strange feeling didn't dissipate until the man looked away. Hiss. Ethan sucked in a breath. Who the hell is that? And why does that feeling seem so familiar? Right? It's exactly the same feeling I got from Lily that time she looked like she was about to stab me. Damian Blackwood walked into the VIP lounge, sat down on a comfortable sofa, and closed his eyes to rest. But the image of the young man from the terminal lingered in his mind. Strange. Why did I get such an irritating feeling just from looking at that kid? Why did that man give me such a dangerous vibe? Ethan was replaying the moment in his mind when he felt a slight movement on his thigh. He looked down. Lily. He almost jumped out of his skin. You caught me, Lily said, biting her upper lip with a look of mock regret. Lily, stop messing around, Ethan said, exasperated, giving her a gentle karate chop on the head. His mind, however, was still filled with the image of the man. Ethan, is something bothering you? Lily glanced around, and seeing no one too close, she sat up on his lap and leaned back against his chest. Why don't you tell me about it? We're supposed to walk this road together, aren't we? A warmth spread through Ethan's chest, and a smile touched his lips. Thanks, Lily. So what is it? It's just. I saw a man just now. He felt a lot like you. Like me? Lily blinked, pointing at herself. Yeah, his aura was almost identical to yours, Ethan answered honestly. But he's gone now. I don't know where he went. You probably just imagined it, Lily said, patting his head. Maybe the guy was just annoyed you were staring at him. So he gave you a dirty look. I hope so. Ethan suddenly had a playful idea. Lily, Aishiru, he said in perfect Japanese. What are you saying, Ethan? Lily tilted her head, her eyes wide with confusion. Nothing, he said, scratching his head and laughing. Hey, I'm going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. He jogged off toward the concourse. Watching him go, a beautiful curve formed on Lily's lips. I love you the most, too, she whispered to his retreating back. In the VIP lounge, Damian Blackwood pulled a photograph from his jacket. In it, a smiling Lena leaned on his shoulder, flashing a peace sign. Damian was looking at her with pure adoration, his hand lifting her chin as if to kiss her. The background was an amusement park. He slowly put the photo back in his pocket, his hands clenching into tight fists. He hadn't been able to find Lena since that day. Lena, I love you so much. Why did you lie to me? But don't you worry. I'll find you soon, and I'll never let you run away again. Never. Beep, beep, beep. His phone buzzed with a text message. Dear passenger, your flight to the UK will be boarding soon. Please prepare for departure. Thank you for your cooperation. Better hit the restroom before I go. Damian stood, straightened his suit, and walked out of the lounge. Lily sat in the waiting area, her mind racing. Should I give Ethan a little surprise? No, he'd probably figure out. Screw it. Fortune favors the bold. She patted down her skirt, stood up, and was immediately confronted by a figure. A blond man stood before her, addressing her in horribly butchered Japanese. Oh my god, miss. You are so beautiful. Can I be your friend, please? Lily shot him a disgusted look. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Please leave me alone. Undeterred, the man feigned surprise and switched to equally broken English. You speak. Very happy to meet you. Before he could finish, two hands shot out from either side, grabbing both of his arms. What the? The man looked left and right. A handsome young man and a mature, older man had him pinned. Scram! Get lost! The two shouted in perfect, menacing unison. Seeing that both men looked like trouble, the creep tucked his tail between his legs and scurried away. Ethan pulled Lily into his arms, holding her tight. "Lily, are you okay?" he murmured. "I'm fine." She feigned fear, burying her face in his shirt. "Good thing I didn't have to do anything. I wouldn't have gotten this hug from Ethan otherwise." Seeing she was unharmed, Ethan turned to the other man. "Thank you for—" He trailed off, his body stiffening. Standing across from him was the same man from before. "It was nothing." Damien froze as well. "Isn't this the kid I found so irritating earlier?" The air crackled with an awkward tension. Lily, sensing something was wrong, peeked out from Ethan's embrace. "What's wrong, Ethan?" Hearing her voice, Damien looked down. His eyes widened, and he stood completely stunned. "This is the guy I was telling you." Ethan didn't get to finish. A fist flew toward his face. Sensing the attack, Lily reacted instantly, shoving Ethan hard and sending him stumbling out of the punch's path. It took Ethan a moment to register what had happened. He turned on the man, furious. "Hey, what's your problem?" "Lena." Damien ignored Ethan completely, his eyes locked on Lily's face, his voice trembling with emotion. "Is it you, Lena?" Lily felt a chill run down her spine. She backed away to stand with Ethan. "I'm sorry, I don't know you. Please stay away from me." "No, I can't be mistaken. Those eyes, that face. You're my Lena." Damien was shaking all over, his gaze shifting to Ethan. "Who are you? Why are you standing next to my Lena?" His eyes were shot with blood. He couldn't contain his rage any longer. He lunged forward to grab Lily, but his phone suddenly rang. The ringtone shattered the moment. It was the custom ringtone he had set exclusively for Lena. "Hello?" he answered, holding the phone to his ear, his eyes still fixed on Lily. "Damien," a voice he could never forget, said through the speaker. "We need to talk." "Is that Lena?" "Huh, what's wrong? You spent all this effort trying to find me, and now you don't recognize my voice?" "How is that possible?" Damien shouted. "Lena, wait for me. I'm coming back right now." He hung up, stared at Lily for one long, hard moment, then turned and stalked out of the waiting area. As the man disappeared, Ethan's clenched fists slowly relaxed. "Who is he?" "Lily, are you okay?" Ethan put his hands on her shoulders, his voice filled with concern. "I'm fine, Ethan." Lily shook her head and spun in a circle to prove it. Seeing that she wasn't rattled, Ethan let out a breath of relief. He took her hand and led her back to their seats. "I'm sorry, Lily. I was gone too long." "Not at all. You were actually super cool just now," Lily said, her hands framing her face as she gazed at him, her eyes burning with an intensity that could melt steel. "It wasn't as dramatic as all that," Ethan mumbled, rubbing the back of his neck sheepishly. "By the way, did you know that guy? He kept saying something about Lena." "Who's that?" "I don't know either." Lily's mind conjured the man's face. For some reason, he gave her a strange feeling, like someone familiar. And when she heard him say the name Lena, her heart had given a painful lurch. "Lily? What's wrong?" Ethan waved a hand in front of her face. "Ah." Lily snapped back to reality, blinking at Ethan. Then she threw herself at him. "What am I even thinking about?" She scolded herself. Before he could react, she planted a kiss on his cheek and smacked her lips. "Ethan is the only one for me." "I'm fine, Ethan. I was just thinking about something," she chirped. "Okay." They waited a while longer before boarding their flight home. "Hello, sir, can I—" A flight attendant began, about to ask the man in economy class if he needed anything. He cut her off with a wave of his hand. She nodded, gave a slight bow, and left, leaving Damien Blackwood alone to stare out the window, his head propped on his hand. "Who is that girl? Why does she look so much like Lena?" "No, I have to find out." He pulled out his phone and sent a text. "I need you to look up a flight. Get photos of a young man and woman on it. I want their detailed files. Now." A few seconds later, a reply came back. "Yes, sir." Damien put his phone away and once again took out the photo of Lena, his thumb stroking her smiling face. Was it really just a coincidence? A slap echoed on the table. "What is the meaning of this? You're going to have someone follow me to the restroom." A woman with blonde hair and piercing blue eyes, dressed in a stunning red gown, sat on a sofa. At a glance, her resemblance to Lily was uncanny. Perhaps the only difference was the color of her hair. "I'm sorry, ma'am." "Mr. Blackwood gave explicit orders." One of the bodyguards at the door began to explain, only to have a pillow fly at his head. "I told you, don't call me ma'am. I am not that man's wife." Lena screamed, enraged. "Yes, ma'am." Lena took a deep, steadying breath, forcing her anger down. She stood up. "Move. I'm going to the restroom." "Yes, ma'am." The bodyguard stepped aside and gave a subtle nod to a female attendant nearby. The attendant, looking terrified, nodded back and followed Lena. Lena went into the lavish restroom and splashed her face with cold water. Staring at her reflection, she whispered, "If only I were the girl in the mirror, then I wouldn't have to suffer all this. Damien, why? After all this time, why won't you just let me go?" The scene shifted to the recent past, during her captivity. Lena groggily sat up in bed, clutching her head, her eyes squeezed shut in pain. Thinking back to Damien's beastly behavior the night before, she wanted to curse his entire family tree. "Damien, you monster! Were you a jackhammer in a past life? One of these days, I swear, I'm going to castrate you in your sleep. Forget it." First, a shower. Before she could stand, a powerful hand yanked her back onto the bed, and an embrace locked her in place. "Lena," Damien murmured, burying his face in her hair. "Where do you think you're going?" "Damien, I swear I will kill you. Do you have any idea how close I was to throwing up last night's dinner? Maybe I should just puke it all in your mouth." Lena put on a pitiful expression, pouting. "It's all your fault for what you did yesterday." She covered her face and burrowed into his chest, feigning shyness. After a long period of careful deception, Lena had finally earned Damien's trust. She was now allowed to go anywhere on the villa grounds by herself, though returning to the city was still forbidden. But the price for this small freedom was, "Lena, you are just too delicious." Seeing her feigned shyness, the fire in Damien's eyes rekindled. "No." Lena pushed him away and scrambled toward the edge of the bed. "You are an absolute dog, Damien. Just like the butler's relentless poodle. Ever since he got that thing, there hasn't been another dog for 10 miles. Just when she thought she might escape, her ankle was caught. She looked back to see Damien was already standing behind her. "Damien, you son of a MMPH. Call me Damien." An eternity later, Lena woke up to find herself cradled in Damien's arms. He was looking down at her with doting eyes. "You're awake, Lena." She snorted and turned her head away, refusing to look at him. "I'm sorry, Lena. I just couldn't control myself." Seeing her anger, Damien knew he had to apologize. A man had to spoil his woman, after all. Lena was still sulking when a strawberry suddenly appeared in front of her mouth. She looked up to see Damien holding it on a toothpick, offering it to her. "Damien, what are you, MFF? You said you wanted strawberries yesterday, didn't you, Lena? They're not in season here, so I had these flown in. Try one. Are they good?" "No." Lena chewed the strawberry. "Thank you, Damien. Idiot. This was just part of my plan to make you sick of me. I never actually wanted strawberries. But they are really good. I guess I'll forgive you for today." "Is it good, Lena?" "It's good. For all." Lena turned and hugged him happily. "You're so good to me, Damien. I'll only ever be good to you, Lena." Hearing this, a faint blush colored her cheeks. "I have to admit, Damien is actually pretty nice. He indulges my every whim. He's always thinking of me. Sigh. If only you weren't a possessive psychopath, this might actually be perfect." With the sound of a running shower fading, Lena emerged wrapped in a fluffy white towel. She was a stunning sight, like a lotus flower after the rain, pure and untouched by the mud from which it grows. Phew! She exhaled a cloud of warm air. A hot shower in the morning is the best. She returned to the bedroom to find Damien gone. Where'd he go? Whatever. What do I care? He could jump off a building right in front of me, and I wouldn't. Her thoughts were interrupted by the feeling of warm breath on her shoulder, followed by a pair of strong arms wrapping around her. "Ah, perv." Smack. The sound echoed in the room, and the air went completely still. Lena turned to see Damien's face darkening, a red handprint already forming on his cheek. She covered her mouth. "Did I hit him too hard?" "Humph. Serves him right. Who sneaks up on someone like that?" "My Lena is certainly full of life today," Damien said, his expression completely unfazed. He stepped forward and pinched her cheek. "Damien, you're not angry. How could I ever be angry at you, Lena? You're my one true love," he said, caressing her face gently. Damien, a pang of guilt hit her. She suddenly felt that her time with him hadn't been all bad. She had assumed he was just like his father, seeing her as nothing more than a pawn in a political merger. Suddenly, she felt a cool draft. She looked down to see that Damien had somehow slipped the towel off and was holding it in his hand. "Damien, what are you doing? Give that back." She reached for it, but he stepped back, evading her grasp. He held the towel to his nose, inhaled its scent, and gave her a wicked smile. "But I never said I wouldn't punish you, my dear Lena." Blushing, Lena covered herself and backed away. "Damien, is it too late to apologize?" "Too late for regrets now." "Okay, everything I just thought was bullshit. After today, I am never seeing you again." When Lena woke up, it was already afternoon. Seeing the sun beginning to set, she shot up in bed. A warm hand touched her back. "What's wrong, Lena?" She didn't speak, just let out a small sob. Damien panicked, pulling her into his arms. Lena, are you okay? Tell me what's wrong. I can't stand to see you cry. It's all your fault, she wailed, pounding on his chest. I wanted to go to the amusement park today, and now the sun is setting. There's no time left. Wah! The amusement park? Damien was stunned for a moment, then patted her back. Lena, if you want to go that badly, I'll have one built next to the villa tomorrow. Then you can go every day. Do you think money grows on trees? If you don't want it, give it to me. She shook her head. I just want to go to a real one with lots of people. That's what makes it fun. And that's how I can escape. Damien stared at her, his mind racing. No, I can't let her go somewhere with so many people. If something happened, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. He was about to refuse when Lena tilted her head up and kissed him. After a long moment, she pulled away, pouting. Damien, just this once, please. Damn it. She loves me so much. What's the harm in agreeing? Just this once? I can't bear to see her cry. Fine, he said, the single word clipped. Really? Oh, Damien, you're the best. She grabbed his arm and shook it excitedly. All right, Lena, let's get you dressed. No. Her face flushed crimson. You go out first. I'll change by myself. But the amusement park. Oomph. Lena pouted and gave him a hard pinch before stomping over to the closet. Fine, change then. While Damien was on the phone ordering 2 VIP tickets, a voice called to him. He looked up and was stunned by the sight before him. Damien, how do I look? Lena stood there in a pale blue sundress that matched her enchanting eyes. A pink sun hat perched on her head. She looked impossibly pure and lovely, like a blue butterfly dancing among flowers. Damien's throat went dry. He swallowed hard and smiled. You look edible. I mean beautiful. Seeing the hunger in his eyes, Lena sensed danger. While he was still lying on the bed, she grabbed her purse and dashed out of the room. Oomph. Damien didn't rush to follow. He slowly got dressed. Lena, you can run, but you can't hide. But what he didn't foresee was a torrential downpour soaked the world. A figure splashed through a puddle, sending water flying. Lena! Damien ran through the empty amusement park, shouting her name. He remembered the kiss on the Ferris wheel. He had been sitting on the bench, and she had stood up, cupping his face in her small hands. Damien, thank you. For what? At first, I hated you. I thought you'd be just like Harrison, that you'd only see me as a political tool. But I never imagined. She tapped his lips. Damien, why do you like me? I don't know. Maybe it was love at first sight. He could still remember the day he first met her in his family's orchard. Damien, in a little while, I'll be finalizing the alliance with the Ainsworth family from the UK. Our corporation will reach new heights, Harrison Blackwood said, clapping his son on the shoulder. When our market expands overseas, I'll be one of the most famous men in the country. Ha ha. Damien stared at the floor. Father, if Mom knew about this. Smack. A red mark bloomed on Damien's face. Your mother is dead. Harrison roared. The dead have no value. You need to understand that in this world, power is the only thing that matters. Love? Huh. It's nothing but a fleeting distraction from misery. Harrison turned and strode away. At the door, he stopped. The Ainsworth's distant daughter is visiting today. Don't you dare embarrass me. With that, he was gone, chest puffed out, hand clasped behind his back. Huh. Sincere love. It's all just a stepping stone for your own ambition, Damien muttered. He took a bottle of rubbing alcohol from a cabinet and dabbed it on the stinging mark on his cheek. Once the pain subsided, he left the house and walked until he reached an orchard. It was filled with all kinds of fruit, but the peach trees were the most prominent, heavy with ripe, tempting fruit in the summer heat. This orchard had been his mother's favorite place. As long as he could remember, he and his mother had played here. Every summer, he could recall playing until he was exhausted, and his mother would pick a peach, wash it, and feed it to him. But that didn't last. His mother died of an illness, and Harrison never once came to the hospital to see her one last time. He could still remember his mother on her deathbed, holding his small hand. Don't cry, my dear, she'd said gently. Mommy is always with you. Whenever you miss me, just pick a peach and eat it, okay? And after that, I never saw you again, except in my dreams. Damien walked to a peach tree, gently tracing a carving in the bark. It was the character for his own family name, Blackwood, the first word his mother had ever taught him to write. After she was gone, he had fallen into despair. This orchard was the only thing that kept him going. Rustle, rustle. As he leaned against the tree, he heard footsteps behind him. Get out, he roared, assuming his father had come looking for him. But a soft, hesitant voice answered. Sorry, I'll leave right now. A woman? Damien turned to see a blonde-haired woman scurrying away like a frightened rabbit. Wait. For some reason, he called out to her. She stopped and turned back. Hello? Can I help you? Who are you? What are you doing here? I'm a guest. My family's inside talking business, so I slipped out. I didn't mean to trespass in your orchard. I'm sorry, I'll go. As she turned to leave, a peach fell from where she'd hidden it in her dress. Ah! Lena's face went scarlet, and she covered it with her hands. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Damien walked slowly toward her. For some reason, this woman gave him a special feeling. Lena thought he was going to hit her and immediately crouched on the ground, curling into a ball. Don't hit me, don't hit me. I'm sorry, okay? But the punch she expected never came. Instead, the peach that had fallen on the ground appeared before her eyes. Huh, want to try it? You're not going to hit me. Do I look like a violent maniac? Then, I'll eat it. Lena cautiously took the peach from his hand and was about to take a bite when he snatched it away. Wait, you have to wash it first. Damien took the peach to a nearby spigot, washed it, and handed it back to her. Thank you. Lena took a bite, and her eyes widened. The summer sun and Damien's meticulous care had made the fruit impossibly sweet. The flavor exploded in her mouth. She cupped her chin with one hand and let out a satisfied sound. So delicious. Watching the smile on her face, Damien, who usually wore a mask of ice, felt the corners of his own lips turn up. He just watched as she devoured the entire peach. Thank you, mister. Lena wiped her mouth and smiled at him. And mister? Damien stood frozen, as if struck by lightning. Do I look that old? You must be the gardener here, Lena continued, sucking on her fingers, oblivious to his expression. You take very good care of this place. Gardener, what's wrong? Lena asked, waving a hand in front of his stunned face. And nothing. Damien looked at his reflection in a puddle of water, his mind racing. Do I really look that old? Thank you for your hospitality, mister. Lena washed her hands and stood up. I should get back. My family is probably waiting for me. She bounced away, leaving the orchard. Watching her go, Damien reached out as if to grab her. I didn't even get your name. Suddenly, the distant figure turned around. Lena cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, Mister, my name is Lena. I'll be back often. Lena, Damien whispered, committing the name to memory as he waved in her direction. After that, Lena visited Damien often, and they became close friends. He eventually cleared up the Mr. misunderstanding. Until one day, Damien was carefully pruning a peach tree, the very one Lena said bore the sweetest fruit. Suddenly, a figure approached, walking unsteadily. Lena. Damien's face lit up with a smile. He had come to realize that the time he spent with Lena was the only time he was truly happy. He knew he had fallen in love with this vibrant, charming girl. But Lena, her face devoid of emotion, walked right past him and sat down by the tree, hugging her knees to her chest. Lena, what's wrong? Damien sat down beside her. Damien, she said, her voice hollow. I'm getting married. I'm sorry, Lena. What did you just say? I said I'm getting married. Tears welled in her eyes. I thought my family was just taking me on a trip. I didn't know they were negotiating my marriage. The tears began to fall freely, and I was naive enough to believe I could finally be free like a bird. But it was just a bigger cage. Damien was in disbelief. Lena, you're from the Ainsworth family. Yes. What family? It's just a business. I'm just a tool. How is this possible? Lena is my age. How could it? Damien, I hate people from these powerful families more than anything, she said, wiping her tears away angrily. They're all two-faced. They say one thing and do another. It makes me sick. Suddenly, footsteps approached. Damien, Lena, there you are. Harrison strode toward them, the Ainsworths trailing behind him. Allow me to introduce you. This is my son, Damien. Damien, say hello to your aunt and uncle. Lena looked from Harrison to Damien, her expression one of shocked horror. You told me you were the gardener. Lena, ha ha ha. No need to explain. Lena stood up, her face a mask of disgust. Damien Blackwood, you make me sick. With that, Lena turned and walked away. When Damien tried to follow, Harrison and the Ainsworths blocked his path. After that, Damien never saw Lena again. Father, I'm begging you. No, Lena may be a distant relative of the Ainsworths, but this connection will allow our corporation to soar. Don't be a useless fool. Guards, drag him out. From that moment on, Damien Blackwood changed completely. The next time Lena saw him, he was a madman standing before her, covered in blood. Damien, you're just as insane as your father. Lena, I've taken care of all your worries. From now on, we'll be together forever. Damien snapped back to the present. He and Lena had just gotten off the Ferris wheel. She linked her arm in his. Damien, I need to use the restroom. Can you buy me an ice cream? Of course. I'll go right now. You wait here for me, okay? He took a few steps, then turned back to look at her. Before he could think, She stepped forward and captured his lips in a deep kiss. After a long moment, she pulled away. "All right, now go," she urged. "Okay, it must be my imagination." After Damien disappeared into the crowd, Lena walked toward the restroom, just as she'd said. But she didn't know that as she stepped inside, a shadowy figure who had been watching turned and walked away. Once the shadow was gone, Lena peeked out from behind the wall, scanned the area, and seeing no sign of Damien, she bolted from the amusement park. A short while later, Damien returned to the restroom entrance, holding a strawberry ice cream. He glanced at his watch. It's been over 10 minutes. Why isn't she out yet? An inexplicable anxiety began to hammer in his chest. As the ice cream melted and dripped onto his hand, his face went cold. He strode into the women's restroom. A pervert! Help! Screams erupted from inside. She wasn't there. Not there. Not there. Damien couldn't find any trace of Lena. The words she had said on the Ferris wheel echoed in his mind, each one a fresh stab to his heart. "Lena, why did you betray me?" Lena had run for several blocks when a wave of nausea hit her. She ducked into an alley and dry heaved. "What's wrong with me? I didn't eat anything greasy. Why would I? I can't worry about that now. I have to escape." After she left, a leaf fluttered down from a tree and landed on the path. Some time later, a sharp crunch echoed in the alley. The leaf was instantly pulverized into dust. Damien stood there, staring into the distance, his eyes deep and grave. "I swear I will find you. And when I do, you will never escape my grasp again." Several years later, on a dark night, a knocking sound echoed in a rundown apartment building. Bang, bang, bang. Creak. The door opened to reveal an elderly, white-haired woman. "Auntie, you're back," a blonde-haired Lena said from inside. She was holding a sleeping baby, rocking her gently. "Yes. Has everything been all right?" The old woman closed the door and took a steamed bun and a small bag of pickles from a plastic bag. "It's fine. A year has passed. He's probably given up by now." Lena gently laid the baby down on the bed and began to eat the bun. "You too have suffered," the old woman sighed. "If you hate that man so much, why did you decide to have the child?" Lena stopped eating, the hand holding the bun, trembling slightly. "I don't know. At first, I was going to get rid of her. But every time she kicked inside me, I couldn't wait to see what she would look like." Her voice choked. She looked at the sleeping infant on the bed. "The answer told me I made the right choice. I thought my life would end in misery, but Lily, she gave my life a new meaning. That must be what family feels like. Just like my sister. Even though she's far away, I'm always thinking of her." The old woman smiled. "She told me she and her husband run a corner store. She invited me to visit when I have the time." "That sounds so nice," Lena said wistfully. "I'm afraid I'll never get to experience that. I just hope Lily can grow up happy. And maybe find a boy who loves and cherishes her. That would be enough for me." "She certainly will," the old woman said with a smile. "A doll as exquisite as Lily will grow up to be just as beautiful as you are." "Auntie, you're teasing me again," Lena pouted. "Ha, I'm telling the truth. You should come with me to visit my sister sometime, Lena. I'm sure she would love Lily." "Of course." Just as Lena spoke, the little one on the bed opened her eyes. Even as an infant, Lily's pale blue eyes shone like sapphires. "Oh, Lily, I'm sorry, did we wake you?" Lena finished the last bite of her bun, dusted off her hands, and was about to pick Lily up to soothe her back to sleep. But Lily didn't cry. Instead, she reached out a small, chubby hand, grabbed Lena's index finger, and smiled, her eyes crinkling. At that moment, Lena's tears could no longer be held back. They streamed down her cheeks. "Oh, Lily, I love you so much." "I love, Mama," Lily gurgled, smiling back. Lena cooed, completely lost in her daughter's cuteness. But the good times didn't last. On a stormy, rain-swept night, Lena ran through the streets, clutching Lily. The old woman's panicked voice echoed from a phone call she'd just had. "Lena, wah-ah." The jostling made the baby in her arms howl. "Sure, Lily, don't cry. Mommy is so sorry." Rain mixed with tears on Lena's face. Fearing Lily would get sick from the downpour, she ran into a building that looked like a Western-style church and gently placed her on a long pew. "Lily, Mommy will be right back. You be a good girl and don't cry, okay?" Lena kissed her daughter's cheek, then ran back out of the church. Not 10 minutes after she left, a black car screeched to a halt in front of her. Lena looked ahead in despair, her body trembling with fear. He's finally here. But to Lena's surprise, it wasn't the fearsome Damien Blackwood who got out of the car, but a group of strangers. To get involved with her own fiancé's son. "She's brought shame upon our family," one of the men in black muttered. "Take her back. Lock her away and never let her out." "Yes, sir." Two men moved toward Lena. "Who are you? What do you want?" Lena sensed the danger and tried to run, but a cloth was clamped over her mouth before she could take more than a few steps. No, Lily, my Lily, please, just let me take Lily with me. MMPH, MMPH. Lena struggled, but it was useless. Her consciousness began to fade. She was thrown into the car. As the engine roared to life, the street quickly returned to its quiet stillness. Tell me, where's my Lena? Damian Blackwood stared at the old woman sitting in the chair, his eyes bloodshot. I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know? Huh. I could smell Lena's scent the moment I walked in here. How long do you think you can hide it? Not talking. Damian smiled, a cruel, sharp thing. Ma'am, my investigation tells me you have a sister who runs a corner store in Northridge, Oregon. Is that right? What are you going to do? The old woman cried, her voice filled with panic. If you don't want your sister's little shop to have difficulties, I suggest you tell me exactly where Lena went. Damian's gaze seemed to see right through her, piercing and terrifying. Lena was right about you. You're a monster, the old woman spat. Then she sighed in defeat. She ran down that road to the left. It was about an hour ago. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for taking care of my Lena this past year. Damian gave a nod, and a bodyguard placed a black bag on the table. It was stuffed with cash. Let's go. At his command, the bodyguards filed out of the room, leaving the old woman to sob alone. Oh, Lena, I'm so sorry. When Damian's car reached the intersection, there was no sign of Lena. It wasn't until he used his connections to pull the security footage that he understood the truth. How could this be? Damian stared blankly ahead, his eyes vacant. Find out who took Lena from me. Yes, sir. Lena. My Lena. He pulled out the photograph, his voice a broken whisper as he called her name over and over. Next time, I'll chain you to my side. I'll never lose you again. In one night, so many things vanished, leaving behind only a tiny, helpless baby. Early the next morning, a security guard walked into the church. Damn it. The rain was so heavy last night, I forgot to lock the doors. I hope no one broke in. As he was inspecting the premises, the sound of a baby's cry startled him. A cry? He followed the sound and found an infant wailing on one of the pews. What kind of parent does this? Just has a kid and abandons it, he cursed angrily. Then he put on a smile. There, little one. Don't you worry. Uncle is going to take you to a nice children's home. Knock, knock, knock. A sharp rap on a door. After a long moment, it creaked open. Who is it? A tired, elderly voice called from within. Hello, Mrs. Wagner. Are you still taking in children? The security guard gently moved the blanket away from the baby's face so she could breathe, noticing a name written on her sock. Lily. Another one? The old director sighed. Fine. It's just one more mouth to feed. Give her to me. Thank you, ma'am. The guard handed the baby over and left. In a busy world, everyone has their own things to do. The old director took the baby, but when she saw Lily's pale blue eyes, a shiver ran through her, and she almost dropped the child. What is this child's appearance? No, this is an ill omen. The director was about to cast the baby aside when a tiny hand wrapped around her finger. Faced with a stranger, Lily didn't cry. She just looked up at the old woman with her beautiful, pleading eyes. Sigh. The director's shoulders slumped. She hugged Lily to her chest and turned, walking back into the orphanage. Lily suddenly woke up on the plane, her mind disoriented. Lily, did you have a nightmare? Ethan asked from beside her, his voice full of concern. His voice pulled her back from the void. Ethan, I don't know why, but my heart is pounding. It's okay. Ethan took her hand and held it tight. I'm here. From now on, I'll protect you from everything. Hearing his words, her frantic heartbeat began to slow. No. She leaned in, her lips close to his ear. Not you alone. Us. Lily. Thank you, Ethan. I feel much better now. She was back to her usual mischievous self. She put her index finger to her lips suggestively. I should really thank you properly. What kind of reward would you like, my hero? Reward. Ethan saw the glint in her narrowed eyes and immediately sensed a trap. He waved his hands dismissively. A righteous man, such as myself, does not act for a reward. Madam, I must ask you to take back your words, lest you insult my noble character. I see, Lily said thoughtfully. Then I suppose those costumes I packed in my suitcase won't be getting worn for a certain hero. Ahem. Well, I suppose, for a noble hero such as myself, the occasional exception can be made. Hee. Lily covered her mouth, giggling. I'm just teasing. Whatever you want to see, Ethan, I'll wear it for you. Ahem. Ethan felt the blood start to boil in his veins. Then, tonight when we get home, may I look forward to the show? You can count on me to give you a show. That will blow your mind. Back in her designated residence, Lena was met by a glamorous woman in a vibrant red dress rushing down the hallway. Lena. The woman lifted the hem of her gown and ran toward her, but was stopped midway by a bodyguard. "I'm sorry, miss. Our boss has ordered that no one is to approach Miss Lena." "How dare you?" the woman roared. "This is my territory. Who the hell does Damien Blackwood think he is?" The bodyguard was not intimidated. "I'm sorry, miss," he repeated, his voice flat. "If you insist on proceeding, you'll force us to be unpleasant. Bring it on. Who's afraid of who? Scarlett Vance doesn't scare easily." From the folds of her skirt, Scarlett produced a handgun and pointed it at the bodyguard's head. The surrounding staff saw this and immediately pulled out walkie-talkies. A button was pressed, and a moment later, the sound of running footsteps filled the air. From private rooms, hallways, the bar, the main entrance, and even the restrooms, menacing-looking staff members emerged, all holding weapons and wearing name tags that read the Crimson Quill Club. One of them, a man with sharp, wiry features, approached Scarlett. "Boss, the boys are all here. Which son of a bitch has the balls to cause trouble at the Quill?" Scarlett gestured with her gun. "Him. Damien Blackwood's man." "Blackwood? How'd he find this place? We've kept Lena hidden so well for all these years." The man was shocked, then had a sudden realization. "We got 'em all." "There must have been a leak," Scarlett said. "Monkey, I'm giving you 3 days to find out who. If you can't, don't worry, boss. 1 day is all I need." Monkey slapped his chest, took a few men with him, and left down the hall, shooting the bodyguard a venomous look as he went. The bodyguard remained as stoic as a statue. "Big guy, I'll give you one more chance. Get your men and get out. Or else don't blame my trigger finger for slipping." "I would advise you to reconsider, miss," the bodyguard said calmly, completely unafraid. "Ha ha ha. No one has ever dared to talk to me like that in my own club." Scarlett's laughter grew wilder. She was about to pull the trigger when a staff member ran up with the phone. "Boss, it's for you." "My old man? Why is he calling me at a time like this?" Scarlett took the phone and barked into it. "What do you want?" "What do I want?" "Scarlett, are you trying to start a war? You've been doing this behind my back for years. Apologize to Mr. Blackwood and the Ainsworths at once." "I won't. Lena is my best friend. I'm not going to watch her get thrown into the fire. Don't argue with me. I can ignore your other activities. I'll even help you build your power base here in the UK. But this is non-negotiable. Do you want to see our entire family destroyed?" Hearing this, Scarlett went silent, her jaw clenched, her expression one of pained defeat. Lena tried to step forward, but was blocked by the bodyguard. "Miss, it's all right," Lena said calmly. "I just want to say a few words to Scarlett." The bodyguard nodded and retracted his hand. Lena walked to Scarlett's side and hugged her. "Scarlett, it's okay. You've protected me for so long already." Scarlett looked down, her voice low. "I'm sorry, Lena. I thought I could hide you for a while longer." "It was more than enough," Lena said with a sad smile. "If you hadn't smuggled me away from my family all those years ago, Damien would have caught me long before now. Maybe this is just my fate." Seeing Scarlett's silence, Lena squeezed her hand. "Come on, don't look so down. Send your men away. You have a business to run. How about we find a place to talk?" Scarlett nodded helplessly, hung up the phone, and waved her hand. Her men nodded and retreated. The 2 women sat on a sofa. Once they were alone, Scarlett's fierce demeanor melted away, and she became a vulnerable young woman again, sobbing in Lena's arms. "Why, I'm sorry, Lena. I was useless." "Not at all. You've helped me so much, Scarlett. I should be the one thanking you," Lena said, gently stroking Scarlett's red hair. "But Lena, are you really going to be with that man? Have you forgotten how he treated you? There's no use running forever. I have to face him eventually, don't I? Why don't you fight back, Lena? If it were me, I'd stab Damien Blackwood and then slaughter that entire family that used you." "It's because..." Lena's voice broke, and tears streamed down her cheeks. "I lost her." "Her?" Scarlett blinked, not understanding. Jingle. With the sound of a key in the lock, the apartment door swung open. "Phew, finally home." Lily was the first one in, diving onto the sofa. "Ah, nothing beats our own place." "Hey, Lily." Ethan came in, dragging the suitcases. "Go open a window and air the place out. It's been a while. It's probably dusty." No response came from the living room. "Lily, don't think you can just pretend you didn't hear me." Ethan walked over to the sofa and found her face down, hugging a cushion, fast asleep. She must be exhausted. I better not bother her. Seeing her asleep, Ethan moved quietly to the balcony and opened the windows to let in the fresh air. He didn't know that on the sofa, Lily had cracked one eye open, watching him, and quickly closed it when he turned around. After he finished tidying up, Ethan's gaze fell upon the suitcase. Lily said she packed all the clothes she bought in Tokyo in there. It wouldn't hurt to just check on them, right? Make sure they didn't get wrinkled. Yeah, just a quick inspection. Swallowing hard, Ethan tiptoed over to the suitcase and slowly unzipped it. As expected, a collection of bright, colorful outfits greeted him. He could make out as soon as Knights of the Blood uniform, my Sakurajima's bunny girl suit, your Forger's Thorn Princess dress, and even something that looked suspiciously like a costume for a certain nature-themed Archon. Whoa! Wavy dash, staring at the feast for the eyes, Ethan's imagination ran wild, picturing Lily in each outfit. The blood began to pump faster in his veins. Monday, she wears this one. Tuesday, this one. Sunday, she wears nothing. Ahem, no, I'll die. I'll literally die. As he was rummaging, a hand snaked around his waist, followed by the feeling of immense pressure against his back. Strange, what's that feeling? Oh no, the enemy is armed. Ethan's hands froze in midair, and a costume slipped from his grasp. What are you doing, Ethan? A deeply seductive voice whispered next to his ear, followed by a puff of warm air. I was just organizing the clothes in the suitcase, so I can put away. Then why were your eyes about to pop out of your head? Lily asked, pressing herself against his back and demonstrating the principles of friction he'd learned in physics class. I was just checking the quality of the fabric. Don't get the wrong idea, Lily, he argued desperately. Is that so? Of course. You just think I'm so. Suddenly, a piece of clothing fluttered down onto his head. It still carried a faint, sweet scent. This looks familiar. Wait a minute. Isn't this what Lily was wearing earlier? Then can you help me check the quality of this one, too? Lily nibbled on his ear, leaving a faint mark on the lobe. Ethan held the flimsy piece of fabric, his brain completely short-circuiting. A familiar scent flooded his senses, and he swallowed hard. Lily, you need to put this back on. Before he could finish, a pink butterfly seemed to land on his hand. This is anarchy. Is it no law? No decency. I heard your little schedule, she purred. Today is Sunday. I've already completed my mission, just as you ordered. You're a mission specialist. All right. Why won't you turn around and look at me, Ethan? Haven't you finished your inspection? A sly smile played on her lips as she leaned down to look at his face. Or is there something else that needs inspecting? For example, Ethan's shoulders began to shake with laughter. You think I'm just some pushover, don't you? Lily, you asked for this. He broke free, spun around, and for a second he almost lost his mind. But seeing the look of smug triumph in her eyes, he lost all reason, like a wild horse breaking its reins. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's main event in the championship ring. Our two contenders are the Northridge Nightmare, Ethan White, and the Foster Flame, Lily Foster. Ding dong. And there's the bell. The match is underway. We see the Nightmare go in immediately for a takedown, pulling the Flame into his domain. Perhaps intimidated by his sheer power, the Flame isn't resisting, allowing herself to be carried across the ring. Yes, the Nightmare has successfully brought the Flame to his corner. Let's see what he does next. A beautiful body slam. He's thrown her onto the mat, but the Flame is no rookie. With a stunning reversal, she's flipped their positions. Now with the Nightmare, who seems to be on the defensive. What will the Nightmare do now? Oh, he's unleashing a flurry of furious blows, a legendary combination. The effect on the Flame seems to be significant. But wait, the Flame appears to have an iron defense, weathering the storm and countering with a hydraulic press-like attack of her own. Let's see if the Nightmare can withstand this incredible. Click. The TV screen went black. Mark looked up. Honey, what are you doing? I was watching the match. It was the critical moment. Claire gave him the side eye. I do all the chores around here day in and day out. The least you could do is help me out a little. Sorry, honey, I was just kidding. Mark rubbed his hands together with a sheepish grin and got up to help his wife. As for the championship fight on TV, probably no one cared about the final outcome anyway. After all, there's always a winner. But tonight, something unexpected happened. Ethan lay in bed, Lily cradled in his arms. He looked at her exhausted face and felt a surge of pride. Strange. How was a draw today? Have I gotten stronger? Lily. Ethan gently tucked the blanket around her back. What is it, Ethan? Lily murmured, her eyes half closed as she leaned against his shoulder, looking like she could fall asleep at any second. Are you tired? She nodded, not saying anything more as she closed her eyes, pretending to rest. Oh yeah. Ethan pumped his fist in the air. Ha. Looks like you're not so tough after all, Lily. I must have finally figured out the technique. From now on, I'm the one in charge. Right, Lily mumbled dismissively. Thinking she was looking down on him, Ethan pressed on. What? You won't admit it? Looks like someone's too proud to admit she lost. Heart. Lily's eyes snapped open. A beatific smile spread across her face as she looked at him. Ethan, she said slowly, do you know what a buffoon is? And do you, my dear Lily, know what it means to bite off more than you can chew? Ethan shot back, making a face like a classic movie villain. Hearing this, Lily threw off the covers, stretched languidly, and walked to the bedroom door. From a crack in the doorframe, she produced a heavy iron chain and expertly wrapped it around the handle, securing the door shut. How is that possible? Wasn't she exhausted a second ago? Why is she moving so gracefully? And where did that chain come from? A sense of profound dread washed over Ethan. I was trying to be nice and let you save face, Ethan, Lily said, twirling a set of keys around her finger before tossing them into a closet. But why couldn't you just accept it? At that moment, her eyes shifted to a deep, glowing pink. The gentle expression from before was gone, replaced by something predatory. If she was a docile puppy before, now she was a starving lioness. As she slowly advanced on him, Ethan finally realized he had been far too cocky. His gloating had led him to this disastrous end. Lily, he stammered, is it too late to apologize? You could try telling that to the devil, Ethan, she said with a playful tilt of her head, but her voice was anything but cute. A clever hunter always manages their prey's ecosystem to ensure a sustainable food source. But sometimes, a foolish deer will dance and prance in front of the hunter, even spitting in their direction. We generally have a term for this kind of self-destructive behavior, digging your own grave. Mark White placed the last clean plate into the cupboard. Claire, honey, dishes are done. So you think maybe? Claire, wiping down the stovetop, didn't even look at him. Go on, get out of here. Yes. Mark practically sprinted out of the kitchen, then poked his head back in. Thanks, honey. Oomph. Smooth talker. Mark plopped onto the sofa and switched on the TV, hoping to catch the highlight reel of the fight, but he was stunned by what he saw. The UFC match was a total bloodbath. Lillian the Siren Foster was putting on a clinic, absolutely dismantling Ethan the Scholar Wilson in a one-sided beatdown. After enduring round after round of Foster's relentless combinations, Wilson was stumbling, completely disoriented. Seizing the opportunity, Foster landed a vicious uppercut that sent Wilson crashing to the canvas. I tap, Wilson wheezed, weakly slapping the mat to signal his surrender. But Foster didn't seem to care. Ignoring the tap, she pounced, raining down another flurry of blows. Thwack, 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 thwack. Wilson's face was a bloody mess as he lay twitching on the mat. Finally, the referee jumped in and pulled them apart. With the crowd roaring, Lillian the Siren Foster was declared the champion. Mark pursed his lips, a flicker of pity on his face as he looked at the ruined fighter on the screen. I mean, come on, you fight someone for that long. Don't you realize they're way out of your league? What an arrogant idiot. And look at you now, beaten into something that's not quite human. Hope you're satisfied. Mark took off his glasses and shut off the TV. I don't know where guys like that get their nerve. The world is full of them. Thank God my son is more rational, knows how to handle himself in a tough spot. Lily Foster got out of bed, stretching her arms high above her head and twisting her lithe waist. Wrapped in a bath towel, she padded barefoot into the bathroom. The view panned slowly to the bed, where the white-sheeted form of a person lay. It was like a chalk outline of a man, an uncolored character in a comic book. A closer look at Ethan's face revealed an expression frozen in a silent, Munch-esque scream. In the shower, Lily tilted her head back, letting the water cascade down her shimmering black hair like a beautiful waterfall. The water traced a perfect calligraphic S-curve down her back. A person's desires just keep growing, don't they? She murmured, a soft smile playing on her lips before she stepped fully into the water. Ugh, Lily thought, placing a hand on her stomach. I want to give Ethan a home, a family. But then again, I don't. Ethan's love has to be all for me. Only me. After her shower, Lily walked into the living room to dry her hair. Suddenly, her phone, sitting on the dining table, lit up. Curious, she picked it up and unlocked the screen. The headline was stark, shocking discovery. Man's dismembered remains found Iron Woman's apartment. Oh, intrigued, Lily tapped the link. The suspect's mugshot was the first thing on the page. That woman. Lily's eyes narrowed. She recognized her. It was the woman she and Ethan had seen in the park. According to the news report, the woman was the victim's coworker. One night, she had subdued him, taken him to her rental apartment, and subjected him to unspeakable torture. The horror was only discovered when a neighbor reported strange noises. When the woman realized her secret was out, she had snapped completely and finished the job. By the time police arrived, she was kneeling on the floor, her eyes filled with a manic, obsessive glee, muttering to herself. My dearest colleague, I love you so much. We have to be together in the next life, too? Okay. Afterward, she had taken the blood-soaked knife and turned it on herself. The incident resulted in 2 deaths and no other injuries. Amateur, Lily muttered, tossing the phone aside and rubbing her hair with the towel. First, your location choice was terrible. You pick a place with no neighbors, or you use a soundproof basement. Second, your situational awareness was nil. You can't get sloppy and leave clues. Still, she mused, I approve of her final commitment. It's a shame Ethan is so well-behaved, otherwise I'd love to get a taste. Oh, what am I thinking? Lily dropped the hands that had flown to her cheeks. Lily Foster, you are just insatiably greedy. Having settled her thoughts, she returned to the bedroom, slid under the covers, and expertly wrapped herself around the motionless form of Ethan White, drifting off to sleep. When Ethan's eyes fluttered open, it was morning. After yesterday's contest, he had finally accepted reality. He would no longer entertain the fantasy of ever being Lily's equal. NNNGH. As Ethan tried to sit up, a sharp pain shot through his arm, followed by a strange, gnawing sensation. Huh? He turned his head and saw Lily, latched onto his arm and chewing on it like it was a turkey leg at the state fair. Ethan, so yummy. Heh. This is like something out of a horror story. It took a moment of struggling before Ethan could wrench his arm free from her grasp. He flicked her forehead, annoyed. I treat you like my girlfriend, and you try to eat me. Were you possessed by the ghost of Zoe's appetite? Yeah, Lily moaned, rubbing her head as her eyes fluttered open. The moment she saw Ethan, she lit up and threw her arms around him. Ethan, good morning. Not good at all. Do you have any idea what you were just doing? Doing what? Lily tilted her head, a perfect mask of innocence on her face. You were gnawing on my arm, looking like you hadn't eaten in a week. Was I? She feigned ignorance. Yes. Look, you left teeth marks. Stop acting like you don't know what I'm talking about. What? Lena, you have a daughter. Scarlett Vance slammed her hands on the table, her voice sharp with shock. Chill. Lena quickly covered Scarlett's mouth with one hand, while making a hushing gesture with the other. Scarlett, keep your voice down. It won't be good if the bodyguard's outside here. MMPH. Scarlett nodded, and Lena finally removed her hand. Why didn't you tell me something this huge before? Scarlett demanded, her eyes wide. Because after my family snatched me back, I tried to look for Lily, but I had no power, no resources. I couldn't find any trace of her. Then why didn't you tell me? I could have had people look for her. Scarlett, don't you remember? Damian Blackwood was watching everything like a hawk back then. If you had sent people, he would have found out immediately. And if my family discovered I had a child out of wedlock, they would have. But what does that have to do with Dammy? Scarlett stopped mid-sentence, her eyes widening as the realization dawned on her. She clapped a hand over her mouth. Don't tell me. She's your and Damien's daughter? Yes, Lena whispered. At first, I was disgusted by the thought of carrying his child. But, I don't know why, every time she kicked inside me, I couldn't bear to let her go. Lena touched her stomach, a nostalgic sadness in her eyes. Giving birth to Lily was the best decision I ever made. But, seeing Lena's expression crumble, on the verge of tears, Scarlett rushed to comfort her best friend. Lena, don't lose hope. I'm sure Lily is okay. But it's been almost 20 years, Scarlett. There hasn't been a single word from her. Not a single trace. No news is good news, Scarlett said gently. Lena, you've been watching the news from the States this whole time, haven't you? Lena slowly nodded. See? The fact that there haven't been any horrible headlines means your little girl is definitely still alive. You just haven't found her yet. But I've been searching for nearly 20 years. Then why not tell that bastard Damien? Maybe he can find her. Because I'm scared. Lena curled into a ball on the couch. I'm scared he'll use her to hurt me, to force me to come back to him. He would do anything to get me. It all comes back to that monster, Damien. Scarlett spat, her voice laced with fury. You just watch. The next time I see him, if I don't knock his teeth out, you can call me. Don't. Lena cut her off. Now that he's found me, there's no point in hiding anymore. She took Scarlett's hands, her eyes pleading. So, can you please do me a favor, Scarlett? Can you find Lily for me? Please. But what about you? Damien will lock you away. It doesn't matter. As long as I know she's been found. That's enough for me. Scarlett looked down, unable to meet Lena's gaze. After today, she might never see her best friend again. Lena, is there anything you want me to tell Lily? At this, Lena's tears finally broke free. Scarlett, just tell her. Tell her I'm so sorry. And that I love her. I've always loved her. I understand. Scarlett's jaw tightened. She nodded, stood up, and opened the door, striding past the wary bodyguards without a second glance. After Scarlett left, Lena was alone in the opulent room. She sat on the sofa, her hair falling messily across her face. If I had told you, she whispered to the empty air, would you have truly accepted her? Crunch, crunch. On the sofa, Ethan was slouched comfortably, legs spread, while Lily sat cross-legged beside him, leaning against his side. She reached into the bucket of popcorn, picked out a piece, and popped it into Ethan's mouth. Only after he was chewing did she take one for herself. This project? I'm all in, for a ridiculous amount of money. A voice boomed from the TV. They were watching a comedy called Mr. Moneybags. Just as Ethan swallowed, another piece of popcorn was pressed against his lips. Lily, you have it. I've had enough. MMPH. Lily kept her head aimed at the TV, pretending to be engrossed in the movie, but her eyes were secretly fixed on Ethan. The moment he opened his mouth to speak, she shoved. The popcorn, along with her finger, went right into his mouth. Wiley yawn. Sorry, Ethan. This movie is just too good, she said, though her gaze had never left his face. You little menace. Ethan playfully poked her forehead with his index finger, then pulled out a napkin to wipe her hand. You need to focus on one thing at a time. Look at you, making a mess. Oh, Lily's eyes lit up as she turned to face him. Thank you for the lesson, Ethan. You must mean I should focus on things with all my heart, right? Yes, I suppose you're teachable. Then I understand. With that, Lily turned her back completely on the TV. The move left Ethan confused. What are you doing? Focusing, she said with a grin, wrapping her arms around his neck and kissing him. All right. Lily gently pulled Ethan back upright. Back to the movie. Don't you do that again. It's not sanitary. Ethan scolded, pinching her nose playfully. Lily didn't say a word, just reached for more popcorn. Leo, I want this one. Zoe and Leo were at a fruit stand, and she was pointing excitedly at a bunch of bananas. Okay. After paying, Leo suddenly remembered something. Zoe, you start eating? I'm going to give Ethan a quick call. Wavy dash. Zoe stared at the golden bananas, practically drooling. Ha. A funny scene in the movie made Ethan burst out laughing. Beside him, Lily continued to munch on popcorn. Ring. Ethan's phone started ringing. Who's calling me? He moved the popcorn bucket off his lap, saw it was Leo, and answered. Hey, Leo, what's up? Just as he spoke, a hand snaked out from beside him. Ethan, are you back in town yet? Leo's voice came through the phone. Ethan felt something was wrong and whipped his head to the side. Lily's arm was wrapping around him like a python. He quickly covered the phone's microphone. Lily, what are you doing? She put on a piteous look. I just wanted some popcorn. You're the one who moved it away from me, so I had to. So this is my fault? Ethan rolled his eyes and passed her the bucket. There, I'm on the phone. Ethan, you okay? Leo asked, having heard the shout. Yeah, fine. Just almost dropped my phone. Go on. Beside him, Zoe peeled a banana with practiced ease. Just as Leo was about to speak, another yelp came from Ethan's end. Ethan, and nothing. I'm back, Leo. What did you want to talk about? Oh, good, you're back. Hey, next week, Zoe and I are planning to go to the hot springs up on Mount Crestview. You guys want to come? Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. Just let me know when. No problem. Leo smiled at Zoe and gave her a thumbs up. Seeing this, Zoe happily took a bite of her banana, her cheeks puffed out as she chewed. Okay, that's it. I've got some other stuff too. Hiss. The line went dead. Leo put his phone away, muttering, What's with Ethan today? So weird. Ethan, this popcorn is delicious. Yeah. It is delicious, Ethan agreed weakly, looking at the popcorn scattered all over the floor. So who was that on the phone? Lily asked, licking her fingers and tilting her head playfully. That was Leo. He was asking if we wanted to go to the hot springs on Mount Crestview next week. Ethan gathered the spilled popcorn back into the bucket and sat back on the sofa. What do you think, Lily? If Ethan goes, I go. All right, a little relaxation sounds good. Ethan stood up. I'm going to go take a shower. You can watch the rest of the movie. He grabbed his towel from a balcony and was about to head to the bathroom when Lily's voice stopped him. Ethan, I'm going to bed. Remember to turn off the TV later, okay? Okay. Ethan turned back, but Lily was already gone. He shrugged, tossed his clothes on the sofa, and headed for the bathroom. The moment he opened the door, a cloud of hot steam billowed out. There's already hot water in the tub. Did Lily do this? Ethan walked over to the bathtub and saw that the shower head was submerged and the tub was already half full. She's so thoughtful, he thought with a smile, stepping 1 foot into the water. Splash. As Ethan settled in, the water level rose dramatically, spilling a little over the edge. A hot bath is the best, he sighed. He soaked a washcloth, wrung it out, folded it, and placed it on his forehead before lying back and spreading out like a starfish. Drip, drip. A few drops of water pattered near the door. Ethan squinted groggily, but the steam obscured his view. He could just make out a dark shape moving near the doorway. Hith. Nice try, Lily. Lucky for me, I'm smart enough to lock the door. It's no use, Lily. The door's locked, he called out with a smug chuckle. You might as well give up, but thanks for drawing the bath. I'll run one for you when I'm done. He shook his head, smiling, and closed his eyes again to enjoy his soak. Splat, splat. The soft sound of feet stepping on the wet tiles echoed through the bathroom, but Ethan dismissed it as condensation dripping from the ceiling. He hummed contentedly. Suddenly, the light filtering through his eyelids dimmed. Why'd it get dark? He turned his head, about to open his eyes, when the water level in the tub rose again. A pair of smooth, pale feet stepped into the tub, one after the other. Lily, what are you doing in here? Get out. Ethan's face flushed bright red as he stared at the delicate-looking girl. He grabbed the sides of the tub to hoist himself up, but a weight suddenly pressed down on him. Oof! His arms slipped, and he splashed back down, feeling Lily settle into his lap. Ethan's entire body froze, as if he'd been hit by a stun gun. Ethan, she purred, the sound sending a shiver down his spine. She wrapped her arms around his neck and rested her head on his chest. You don't have to run a bath for me. Isn't this perfect? How did you get in? What if I told you I never left? That's impossible. When I came in, you definitely weren't. Ethan trailed off as a horrifying realization dawned on him. You were hiding behind the door? Moi. Lily planted a soft kiss on his cheek. My Ethan is so smart. Lily lay on Ethan's chest, eyes closed, enjoying the comforting warmth of the bath. To keep her hair from getting wet, Ethan gently gathered the long, dark strands in his hand. Ethan, Lily looked up at him, puzzled. I just don't want your hair to get soaked. You'll catch a cold if it stays wet for too long. He lifted her hair a little higher. Besides, your hair is beautiful. It feels so soft and smooth. I'm glad you like it. When we go to the hot springs next week, we'll be in a huge pool, Ethan said with a smile. This bathtub is a little cramped, you know? It doesn't capture the true essence of a good soak. This, Lily said, snuggling even closer, is the essence. She looked up at him. Have you ever been to a hot spring before, Ethan? No, I haven't. I never really thought about stuff like that. I've always just gone with the flow. Like just now, if Leo hadn't suggested it, it probably wouldn't have even crossed my mind. I see. Well, from now on, will you go to more places with me? I want every one of my firsts to be with you, Ethan. Of course, but the way you said that sounded a little weird. That's because you have a dirty mind. Lily pouted. Don't I? I'm not talking to you anymore. She put on an angry face, pushing against the side of the tub to get out, but Ethan quickly pulled her back. I'm sorry, Lily. I'm overthinking things. My sweet, innocent Lily wouldn't have a single bad thought in her head. I don't believe your sweet talk, she said, crossing her arms and turning her head away. Then what do I have to do to make you believe me? The moment the words left his mouth, Lily's eyes lit up. The pouty, hurt expression vanished, replaced by a mischievous glint. Well, that depends on your performance, Ethan. Splish, splash, splush. Ripples spread across the surface of the water, like someone was skipping stones across a river. As time passed and the people left, the river returned to its initial calm. Lily was giggling foolishly on the sofa. Squish. Ethan gently pinched her cheek. Don't move. I'm drying your hair. Feeling the warm air, Lily closed her eyes contentedly, like a kitten, letting Ethan fuss over her hair. I told you not to get so carried away. Now look at you, soaked from head to toe. Once her hair was dry, Ethan turned off the hairdryer and poked her on the head for good measure. It's not my fault I'm naughty. It's your fault for being so tempting. Tempting my foot. All right, time for bed. Yay, bedtime. Lily shot up from the sofa, turned, gave Ethan a tight hug, and then bounced happily back to the bedroom. That girl, Ethan chuckled. I bet she only acts this cute when she's with me. Lily ran into the bedroom and did a flying leap onto the bed, landing expertly on the side where Ethan usually slept. Ethan sent. After putting the hairdryer away, Ethan was about to head to the bedroom when he noticed a small, white tail lying on the floor by the door. He bent down, picked it up, and a sudden realization made him look up into the room. In the darkness, illuminated only by the moonlight filtering through the window, he could just make out a pair of pale blue eyes and the silhouette of two floppy bunny ears. Ethan, do you like it? Ethan took a deep breath and walked heavily to the side of the bed. He sat down and reached out to stroke her face. I finally understand how some CEOs end up missing their 8 a.m. meetings. Why? Because they can't get out of bed. Ethan sighed, then pushed her down onto the mattress. Whoosh! A white streak crossed the sky, descending toward the airport. The moment Damian Blackwood stepped out of the terminal, he saw a woman in red striding purposefully toward him. Damian Blackwood! Scarlett Vance threw a straight right at his face. Oomph. Damien gave her a cold glance, then swayed effortlessly to the side, dodging the punch. Scarlett Vance, I suggest you mind your own business. I still haven't settled the score with your family for hiding Lena all these years. His voice was ice. You have a problem. You bring it to me. Leave my business out of it. Oomph. It seems the owner of the Crimson Quill is nothing more than a little girl playing house. What did you say? Furious, Scarlett reached into her pocket, but it was empty. She'd forgotten that she couldn't bring her tools on a domestic flight. But I should thank you, Damien said, his tone shifting. If it weren't for you, her family probably would have taken Lena back. Thank you for taking care of her all these years. Don't you dare. You act like you two are so close. You're the one who was stalking her. Watching Damien walk away, Scarlett stomped her foot in frustration. You just wait, Damien Blackwood. Once I find my niece Lily, I'll settle this with you. With that, she spun around and headed back into the airport. As Damien exited the main doors, he saw a black sedan parked nearby. Two men in black suits stood beside it. When they saw him, they hurried over respectfully. Sir, the car is ready. The madam is waiting at the club. Good. Damien opened the back door and slid inside. The engine rumbled to life, and the car sped away from the airport. Damien pulled Lena's photo from his pocket, a slight smile touching his lips. Lena, wait for me. I'm coming for you. That evening, Ethan started talking in his sleep. Bunny, girl, tail, hey. Beside him, Lily, who had been wrapped around him, opened her eyes. Looks like Ethan really liked it. We still have a week. Maybe I can help him build up his stamina before the trip. With that thought, she snuggled deeper in his arms, finding a comfortable spot before falling back asleep. Ring, ring. The sharp sound of a phone pierced the night. A man sleeping in a different bed shot upright and answered automatically. Hello? What? I'm on my way. He hung up and rushed to his closet, expertly dressing in the dark. Honey? What's wrong? A woman's voice asked from the bed. Something came up. I have to go in for an emergency meeting. Sorry for waking you, sweetheart. Just as the man was about to leave, the woman called out to him. The woman got out of bed, took a leather jacket from the closet, and draped it over her husband's shoulders. It's dark and cold out. Wear an extra layer. Thanks, honey. The man leaned down and kissed her forehead, then put on his police cap and walked out the door. When he arrived at the station's conference room, it was already full. A man at the head of the table looked up. Miller, you're finally here. Have a seat. Yes, Chief. Detective Miller found a nearby empty chair and sat down, his gaze fixed on the chief of police. All right, now that everyone's here, let's begin. The chief cleared his throat and stood up. You all remember the case Miller was working on. What I'm about to tell you is directly related to the conspiracy behind it. The man turned on a projector. The image of a shifty-looking man with beady eyes and black-framed glasses appeared on the screen. One of the key leads in Miller's case was the children's home. The current director told us that the reason her predecessor resorted to selling children was because of the greed of this man. The chief's voice grew more and more agitated. What is our duty? To protect the people and their interests. After a thorough investigation by our task force, we have gathered all the evidence we need against this individual. At dawn today, we will move to arrest him. I expect all of you to be ready. Yes, sir. The room answered in unison. Detective Miller's fists were clenched so tight his knuckles were white. He felt this case more personally than any other for the sake of the kids at Havenwood and the case that had brought him to them. Hearing this news, his exhaustion vanished. Did you see that, kids? Justice is slow, but it always arrives. Hiss. Huh. Hiss. Huh. Ethan juggled the steaming dumpling in his mouth. Oof, oof, that's hot. That's what you get for not letting it cool down, Lily said, placing a glass of cold water in front of him. Drink some water before you burn yourself. MMPH, glug, glug, glug. Ethan grabbed the glass and chugged it down. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Huh? Who is it? Ethan put down his glass, placed his chopsticks neatly on his bowl, and walked to the door. Who dares to interrupt my one-on-one time with Ethan this early in the morning? Lily's expression darkened for a moment before she composed herself and followed him. The door opened to reveal a familiar face. Detective Miller, Ethan said, surprised. Is something wrong? Nothing's wrong. Just wrapped up a case and was passing by. Thought I'd check in on you too, Miller said, his face etched with fatigue, but still smiling. I have some good news. You remember the director of the children's home mentioning that embezzlement problem from years ago? Yes. Was there a break in the case? Ethan despised people like that. If the home had been better funded, maybe Lily's childhood would have been better. Last night, our task force arrested the man responsible for the embezzlement at his mansion. He's already been booked on multiple charges. Miller straightened up and gave them a crisp salute. And thank you both for your cooperation. We were just doing our civic duty. Well, I mainly came to tell you the good news. Now that I should get home and get some rest. My wife is waiting for me. Miller smiled and waved goodbye. I wish you two a long and happy life together. Hearing this, a genuine smile spread across Lily's face as she waved back. Anyone who wishes me and Ethan well is someone Lily doesn't hate. After seeing Miller off, Ethan returned to the dining table. Lily was leaning on the table, chin in her hands, watching him with an expectant look. By the way, Lily, aren't you having any dumplings? No, I don't need them. Don't need them, Ethan said, picking up a dumpling and blowing on it. It's just a dumpling, not some kind of medicine. Why wouldn't you need it? He popped it into his mouth. Now that's a weird thing to say. Halfway through chewing, Ethan sensed something was off. He used his chopsticks to break open another dumpling in his bowl and froze. Lily, what kind of dumpling is filled with goji berries? It's your special menu, Ethan. Under Lily's benevolent gaze, Ethan forced himself to finish the bowl of culinary horror. He slumped onto the table, his will to live gone. At the sink, Lily was happily washing the dishes. Ethan White will one day destroy every last goji berry in this house. A car pulled to a stop outside a casino named the Crimson Quill Club. The car door opened, and Damian Blackwood stepped out. Standing by the entrance was a figure he could never forget. Lena was wearing a pale blue dress that matched her eyes perfectly. Though the years had stolen some of her youthful innocence, she still possessed a mature, captivating beauty. Lena. Damian could no longer control himself. He broke into a run, closing the distance between them and pulling her into a fierce embrace. His ragged breaths echoed in her ear. Do you have any idea how long I've looked for you? This time, I will never let you leave my side. Never. As he spoke, a crazed look filled his bloodshot eyes. He produced a pair of handcuffs from out of nowhere and locked his wrist to hers. You will never escape from me again. Don't even think about it. But Lena seemed to have grown accustomed to this side of him. Her face showed no fear. You haven't changed a bit, Damian. Hiss. He squeezed her arm, causing her to wince in pain. I've told you countless times. Call me Damian. He was about to lose his temper when his eyes darted around, noticing several suspicious figures lurking on the street. Forgetting his demand, he pulled her into the car. A bodyguard, seeing the situation, quickly got into another car and retrieved a weapon. The moment they were inside, Damian regretfully took out a key and unlocked the handcuffs. Damian, what are you? Before Lena could finish, he pushed her down onto the seat. MMPH. A moment later, Damian pulled back, greedily licking his lips. Still the same familiar taste. And it's Damian. I don't want to say it a third time. He reached under the seat and pulled out a handgun. What are you doing? Before Lena could react, Damian pushed her head down. Lena, no matter what you hear, don't get up. Understand. What on earth has happened? Damian scanned their surroundings. He was fairly certain they were surrounded. Mr. Blackwood, it looks like they were waiting for us, a bodyguard said, pulling out a walkie-talkie. Should I call in the teams? Not yet. A small, cold smile touched Damian's lips. If they want to play, I'll play. After a moment, a blond man in a fedora emerged from the darkness of the street. He gave their car a theatrical tip of his hat and strolled over. Sir, want me to just take the shot? Not yet. Roll down the window. As he spoke, Damian's composed expression melted away, replaced by one of pure terror, as if he'd seen a ghost. The blond man saw the window lower and burst out laughing at Damian's frightened face. My dear Blackwood, surely a small scene like this isn't enough to scare you so badly? Is this really how the CEO of the Blackwood Corporation behaves? You're with the Ainsworth family. Your nerve may be lacking, Mr. Blackwood, but your mind is still sharp. The blond man's face was a mask of smug certainty. We wouldn't have even known Miss Lena was here if it weren't for you. And because of what you did, it caused our family some embarrassment, so what? You're going to kill me? Oh, no. My meaning is, if you would be so kind as to hand over Ms. Lena, we would be very grateful. Our family cannot allow such a person to tarnish our good name. Hearing this, Lena shuddered and closed her eyes in resignation. Of course, I'm just a tool. Are you saying you're going to take my Lena from me? My apologies, Mr. Blackwood. To be precise, she is our family's. The man's words stopped forever, his smug smile frozen on his face as darkness took him. He slumped to the ground. Damian shielded Lena with his body, the smell of gunpowder from his pistol filling the car. Fuck! From the shadows, the other Ainsworth family members cursed, pulling out their own weapons and preparing to fire on the car. At that moment, Damian snatched the walkie-talkie from his bodyguard, pushed Lena fully down onto the back seat, and said one word. Go! The instant Damian gave the order, Gunfire erupted from hidden positions all around them. Less than 30 seconds later, the street fell silent. Lena blinked her eyes open to find Damien covering her ears, looking down at her with an expression of pure gentleness. "Are you okay?" I'm fine." For some reason, Lena's heart, which had been sealed away for so long, began to stir. Damien, thank you. Is a simple thank you all I get?" he teased. "What else do you want?" MMPH. Lena looked at him, and for the first time in a long time, she saw something different. It felt like a sense of security. Just as Damien was deepening the kiss, his bodyguard spoke up. "Sir, where to next?" The words jolted Lena back to reality. She instantly pushed Damien away and curled into a ball. Damien froze, then shot a venomous glare at the bodyguard. "Back to the office, of course. What's your monthly salary?" 50,000. "Why, sir? Hand it over tomorrow. Say another word, and you'll hand over 2 months' worth." The bodyguard snapped his mouth shut, a deep sense of injustice washing over him. "I've only ever heard of people earning money at a job. Why am I the one paying to work here?" The driver accidentally let out a snort of laughter. And just like that, another sad person was created in the world. While Lena was lost in thought, she heard a click and looked down to see that Damien had handcuffed them together again. She was used to it by now. "Damien, you provoked the Ainsworth family now. This will be dangerous." "Oh." Damien drew out the sound, squeezing her hand. "Lena, are you worried about me?" "Of course not," she snapped, turning to look out the window. "Relax. If this were a few years ago, it might have been tricky, but things are different now." Damien pulled her closer, letting her rest her head on his shoulder. "Don't worry about what comes next. I'll handle it. Who cares about you?" She mumbled, but this time was different. In the past, Lena had fought desperately to escape him. But after all these years, after giving birth to Lily, she now felt a tiny, traitorous part of her that wanted to stay by his side. "What's wrong with me?" Lena closed her eyes and leaned against Damien's shoulder, slowly drifting off. She didn't even realize that the exhaustion and worry that had plagued her for years had completely vanished the moment she was near him. Damien stroked her hair, a genuine smile on his face. Ethan had a dream. He was sinking into a deep, muddy swamp, unable to move. His breathing was ragged and desperate as he slowly slipped under. Ethan woke with a start, finding his limbs heavy and useless. He looked down and saw that Lily was asleep on his chest. No wonder. It was Lily crushing me the whole time. Ethan carefully shifted his arms and gently moved her off him. He grabbed his phone and checked the time. "It's almost morning. I should go downstairs and get Lily some breakfast." He got dressed and was about to stand up when a soft body wrapped around him. He turned his head to see a sleepy, disheveled Lily. "Where are you going, Ethan?" she asked, her eyes half closed, her tone carrying a hint of interrogation. "Lily, you're awake. I was just going to buy some breakfast downstairs." Together, her body leaned even closer against his. "Why don't you sleep a little longer? I'll be right back." "No." Lily gripped his shoulders and rested her head against him. "Take me with you, Ethan." Okay. Then you should get ready. Look at your hair. It's a mess." Hearing this, Lily finally let him go and started to get dressed. By the time they were both ready, Lily had transformed back into her usual energetic, cheerful self. The best ingredients are often prepared in the simplest ways. Downstairs from the apartment building, Frank, the owner of the local diner, was pulling a fresh batch of steam buns from a steamer he'd loaded up before dawn. Frank's masterful technique and affordable prices made his place a favorite breakfast spot for the whole neighborhood. The chewy, pillowy dough combined with a rich, savory meatball to create a perfect, juicy bun. Paired with fresh soy milk, sprinkled with a dash of sparkling sugar, this simple breakfast was a source of pure culinary joy. Ethan led Lily to a table outside the diner. "Hey, Frank, coming." Frank, having just served a tray of buns to a group of office workers, hurried over to their table. "What can I get for you two?" "I'll have 1 pork bun, 1 veggie bun, and a bowl of the sweet tofu pudding," Ethan said, then looked at Lily. "What about you?" Lily held up 1 finger. "I'll have the same as Ethan, but I want my tofu bowl spicy." "You got it. Be right back with that." Frank memorized the order and headed back inside. A few minutes later, he returned with their breakfast. "Enjoy, you too." "Thanks, Frank." Ethan passed the spicy tofu bowl to Lily. "Eat up, Lily. It's no good once it gets cold." Just as Lily was about to take her first spoonful, 2 men at the next table started arguing. "I can't take it anymore. How can you eat that sweet stuff in front of me? Who even eats that? What are you talking about? Savory is the only way. You people should be burned at the stake. Sweet tofu is an abomination." Watching the 2 men bicker, Ethan shook his head. "Sigh. The breakfast wars are truly inescapable." Lily took a sip of her spicy tofu, blinked a few times, and then her gaze settled on Ethan's lips. This has to be settled, the sweet tofu guy declared, storming over to their table. Look at this handsome, dashing young man. I'm sure if you ask him, he knows sweet is the superior choice. The savory tofu guy shot a piercing glare at Ethan. You like the sweet kind, kid? I actually like both. I don't think it's really something to argue about. What do you mean it's not necessary? The savory guy shot back. This is a war of tastes. If this isn't handled properly, it could trigger the next great flavor war. He then turned to Lily. And you, young lady, I assume you're on the side of savory? Even though it's spicy, the general profile is still savory. Before he could finish, Lily nodded seriously. I'm on Team Ethan. Team Ethan. The two men looked confused. That's right. Lily's face was earnest as she clasped her hands together. Whatever is in Ethan's mouth is. MMPH. Ethan quickly clamped his hand over her mouth, offering the men a strained smile. Hey guys, if you keep arguing, your food's gonna get cold. I knew nothing good would come out of her mouth. He's right, the sweet tofu guy conceded. Fine, I'll let you off the hook this time. But next time I'll crush you. He went back to his table. Oomph. The savory tofu guy picked up his bowl and moved to another table, but not before getting in one last shot. A prime minister's mind is broad enough for a boat. I won't stoop to your level. Don't look down on me because I'm older. Though my body is old, my arrows are still sharp. After they left, Ethan finally let out a breath of relief. Slurp. Suddenly, Ethan realized something was wrong. He looked down and saw that both of their tofu bowls were untouched. But that sound. Smooch. Ow. Lily opened her mouth, looking pitifully at Ethan. Why did you hit me? Ethan retracted his hand from a light karate chop. Lily, do you even hear yourself? What were you just doing? I was eating breakfast. I'm pretty sure I didn't order any churros. Ethan tore off a napkin and wiped his fingers. Maybe the waiter brought it to the wrong table. After they finished, Lily linked her arm through Ethan's, saying she wanted to go for a walk in the nearby park. Ethan naturally agreed. Lily, if you keep acting so recklessly, I'm going to have to enforce my family rules. I have to establish some authority or my status in this relationship will. At this, Lily's eyes lit up. Ethan, are you talking about things like whips, chains, ball gags? Noticing the strange looks they were getting from passersby, Ethan quickly surrendered. Lily, I was wrong. Please, just spare me. It's good that you know you're wrong. Lily's expression turned serious again. She stood on her tiptoes and nibbled on his earlobe. But sparing you is impossible. Suddenly, Lily sensed something and pulled Ethan into a brisk walk. Hey, Lily, what's... Don't talk, Ethan. Her expression had become intensely serious, a stark contrast to the playful girl from moments before. Lily's eyes darted to her side. Sure enough, less than 50 yards away, she could feel several pairs of eyes on them. It felt like surveillance. Who are these people? Haven't all the threats been dealt with? With no time to think, Lily pulled him around the corner and into a narrow alley. Report. We've lost the targets. What do you mean you lost them? You can't even tail a young girl? What kind of highly trained bodyguards are you? Sorry, Captain. They just vanished from all of our surveillance points. So, they spotted us. Fine. Call the teams back. We'll run a data search tomorrow. Don't stir up any unnecessary trouble. Yes, sir. The man removed his earpiece and lit a cigarette. Why would Mr. Blackwood have me tailing a teenage girl anyway? And how the hell did she spot us? This makes no sense. MMPH. Lily, what's going on? Ethan asked, pressed against her in the cramped alley. Ethan, we're going to find Zoe and Leo today, Lily said suddenly. So soon? Yes. I want to go to the hot springs now. But we have to go home first and... No need. We're going right now. With that, Lily pulled Ethan out of the alley in the opposite direction. What? We're going now. Leo stared in disbelief at the calendar on his wall. I thought we planned for next week. Lily said she might be busy later, so we're leaving early, Zoe explained from her end of the call. Is that so? Okay, I get it. Leo agreed immediately. Zoe, I'll pack a bag and come find you. Mount Crestview isn't too far. The four of us can take a train and be there in no time. Okay, bye-bye, Leo. Zoe hung up and looked at Ethan and Lily, who had arrived with no bags at all. Are you guys really not bringing anything? Nope. Ethan and I will buy stuff when we get there. Right, Ethan? All right. Okay then. Make yourselves at home for a bit. I'm going upstairs to pack. Zoe gestured for them to sit and then headed to her bedroom. Once they were alone, Ethan finally asked, Lily, did you see something before? Is that why we left so suddenly? Yeah. The anxiety that had gripped Lily finally started to fade inside Zoe's house. She leaned forward and hugged Ethan. I noticed someone was watching us. Watching us? Ethan exclaimed. Was it those people from before? No. Lily shook her head. Their technique was too good. They were professionals, and they were just watching, not making a move. This is too dangerous. Ethan thought for a moment. Should we call the police? Let Detective Miller handle it. It's no use without proof. Besides, that would just tip them off. If they decide to get aggressive, it could be bad. I guess you're right. Ethan looked down, trying to think of another plan. Don't worry, Ethan. Lily's expression suddenly shifted, her warm, sunny smile sending an icy chill down his spine. No matter who it is, if they dare to interfere with our time together, I'll make them all. Stop, stop, stop. Ethan quickly pulled the unhinged Lily into his arms. It's okay, Lily. Whatever happens, we'll face it together. The familiar scent of Ethan brought her back to her senses. She buried her head in his chest. Together. Just then, Zoe's voice floated down from upstairs. Hey, are you two lovebirds going to get a room? You're clearly just trying to rub it in that my Leo isn't here yet. Lily's head slowly emerged from Ethan's shoulder, her eyes fixed on the stairs with a strange, deadpan expression. Ahem. Lily, that's enough. Zoe came down with her suitcase, her hands on her hips. You two just came here to flaunt your relationship in my face. All right. Ethan gently pushed Lily's head back down and looked at Zoe. Did you get everything packed? Zoe. Hee, if you're asking about that, you're talking to the right person. Zoe flashed a proud smile. Chips, cake, chocolate, cookies, bread. You name it, I got it. Ethan pointed helplessly at the suitcase. Are you saying there's nothing in there but food? Is there anything else we need? Zoe tapped her chin thoughtfully. We've got a hot spring, so of course we need. I knew it. Zoe's eyes lit up. She finally gets it, Ethan thought. You need to at least bring some basic toiletries. The most important thing. Soda. It's the absolute best, right, after a hot soak. I give up. Ethan slapped his forehead. The world of a true foodie was beyond his comprehension. Hiss. Ow, ow, ow. He looked down to see Lily biting his neck. Lily, what are you biting me for? That's what you get for pushing my head down. She flashed a tiny canine tooth, her eyes challenging him. Oh, you were just asking for it. Ethan raised his hand and gave her a light swat on the behind. MMPH. With a soft whimper, Lily wrapped her arms around his neck and pulled him down onto the sofa. Ethan braced himself with his hands on either side of her, looking down at her mischievous grin. Lily, are you crazy? We're in someone else's house. No. She looked at him seductively. You just had a 44-word conversation with Zoe. So, I have to punish you. Are you a human calculator? MMPH. Slurp, slurp. Zoe popped open a can of cola and took a long drink. Fizzy water makes me happy. Burp. Buzz. Just then, her phone lit up with a text from Leo. Dum-dum Leo. Hey Zoe, I'm downstairs. Time to go. Zoe quickly typed back. Okay. Me and the others will be right down. She stuffed the cola into her backpack and headed for the stairs. Huh. Where'd they go? Downstairs. Zoe saw that the sofa was empty. Did they go down without me? Seriously, they didn't even wait. Not thinking much of it, she grabbed her suitcase and walked out the door. Huh. Phew. After Zoe left, Ethan finally started breathing again. He tapped Lily on the forehead as she lay on top of him. You were playing with fire. Lily didn't speak. She just closed her eyes and swallowed. Gulp. She slowly opened her eyes, a look of pure satisfaction on her face. Ethan, let's go. Yeah, good thing we weren't caught. My reputation would have been ruined. Not daring to linger, Ethan clutched his neck and followed Lily out, making sure to lock the door behind them. The moment she was outside, Lily caught a glimpse of a full-length mirror in the living room. The faintest smirk touched her lips. The wheels of Zoe's suitcase clattered loudly as she ran up to Leo. Zoe, you're here. Huh? Where are Ethan and the others? Leo asked, taking the suitcase from her. I don't know. Zoe mumbled, looking at the ground. Hey, why is your face so red? Do you have a fever? And no, nothing. Zoe fanned her flushed cheeks with her hands. It's probably just hot out. I guess so. Leo nodded, then looked off into the distance and raised his hand. Ethan, over here. Hearing his name, Zoe flinched and buried her head even lower. Yo, Leo. Long time no see. Ethan called out with a smile. Hey, weren't you guys with Zoe just now? Ahem. We were just checking out the garden out back. We must have missed each other, Ethan said, covering a cough with his fist. Okay, well, let's get going. The station is pretty close. Ethan breathed a silent sigh of relief. If they'd been caught, he would have died of embarrassment, his toes curling so hard they'd dig a new basement. Zoe, clinging to Leo's arm, glanced back slightly and saw Lily looking at her with narrowed, knowing eyes. Yike, what's wrong, Zoe? Leo asked, concerned. And nothing. Zoe forced a stiff smile, her eyes fixed forward as she walked like a robot. This should be the place. Scarlett Vance held a piece of paper with an address as she stood before an apartment building. But why an apartment building? Didn't Lena say this used to be an old residential complex? Excuse me, are you looking for someone? A deep voice said from behind her. Scarlett turned to see a woman with a red armband that read Neighborhood Watch. Hello there, Scarlett said politely, handing the woman the slip of paper. I was just wondering, is this the address on this note? The woman, charmed by Scarlett's polite address, beamed and took the paper. You're a sweet talker, honey. Let me see. Yep, this is the place. She handed the paper back, her curiosity piqued. Are you here to find someone? Yes, an old friend who used to live here asked me to look for someone. Scarlett pointed at the building. But my friend said this used to be an old complex. What happened? Sounds like your friend is an old-timer. Hearing this, the woman's floodgates opened. It's true, this used to be an old neighborhood. But then a big incident happened, and it changed everything. A big incident? In the old complex, there was an elderly woman. One rainy night, she took in a young girl who came from who knows where. The girl was even holding a baby. She said she'd run away from home, and the old woman, being kind-hearted, naturally took them in. This must be Lena. Scarlett's heart pounded. And then what happened? Then the girl lived with the old woman for over a year. The woman's tone shifted. But one day, not long after, people said they saw a group of men in black suits go to the old woman's house. No one knows what happened after that. The next day, the girl was gone, and the old woman just sighed all day, sad and withdrawn. But then a project manager from a company called the Blackwood Corporation came and said they were going to redevelop the area into commercial apartments. They paid all the residents a lot of money for their homes. Everyone was thrilled. Damian Blackwood? Scarlett thought. I can't believe that bastard. Then again, he's full of dirty tricks. That old woman must have been the one who helped Lena. She might know where Lily is. I see. Well, do you happen to know if the old woman who helped the girl still lives here? Sigh. The woman sighed deeply. After the girl left, the old woman's health went downhill. It was like she blamed herself for what happened to them. She passed away from illness less than a year later. The world sure has a way of kicking people when they're down. What? Scarlett was stunned. Does she have any other family? Friends? Let me think. The woman closed her eyes for a moment. Then they snapped open. I think so. She had a sister who runs a little corner store. If I remember correctly, it's near Northridge University. Understand. Thank you so much, Scarlett said, committing the location to memory and thanking the woman profusely. No problem. Watching Scarlett hurry away, the woman seemed to understand. Yeah, what a shame. Click. The sound of metal on metal echoed in the room. Damian Blackwood fastened the last lock, and the agitation in his heart finally settled. Seeing Lena sitting on the bed, completely immobilized, he finally smiled. Lena, this is where you belong. By now, Lena had lost the panic of her youth. She just looked at him with a weary, unsurprised expression. Yes, after all this time, I'm back here again. Damian walked over and gently lifted her chin. Lena, do you have any idea how hard it was waiting for you? Lena didn't flinch. She knew it would be pointless. But you have me now, don't you? Huh? Damian leaned in and brushed his lips against hers, a teasing glint in his eye. After so much time out in the world, my Lena has learned to talk back. I'll have to punish you severely for that. With that, he pushed her down onto the bed. Phew, finally off that train. Leo stretched his arms high, shaking off the fatigue of the ride. Ethan, you should probably just buy your stuff at the mall nearby. I bet the prices on the mountain are insane. Good point. Ethan looked at Lily. Want to go together? MMM. Lily nodded, then leaned in and whispered something in Zoe's ear. Zoe's face instantly turned bright red, and she stood there frozen, as if her brain had short-circuited. You're not getting rid of me that easily, Ethan, Lily said playfully, linking her arm through his. Of course not. Whenever, wherever, whatever the time, I'll always be by your side, Ethan said, looking at her gently. You said it, Ethan. Yep, I said it. Watching the two of them flirt as they walked away, Leo felt a pang of envy and went over to the still petrified Zoe. Zoe, you want to go look around too? Zoe. Zoe's face was beet red as she looked at Leo, her voice trembling. LLL Leo. What's wrong? Is Lily a very forward kind of girl? Huh? Leo stared at her. Zoe, you've known her this long, and you're just now asking that. I always thought Lily was a very quiet, rational, and shy girl. Are you sure we're talking about the same Lily Foster? Leo thought back. He remembered the day Ethan was essentially married off. No, even now, just thinking about the look on Lily's face back then sent a cold sweat down his back. A single glance. Did she know what kind of psychological damage that did to a 20-year-old guy? Long story short, from the moment I met her, I knew Ethan was never getting away in this lifetime, Leo said, his brow finally unfurrowing. But it's a good thing they get along. Otherwise his life would be a total tragedy. Zoe didn't understand a word of Leo's cryptic monologue. It seemed thinking too hard wasn't her strong suit. She vaguely remembered how Lily had been watching her on the train with a mischievous look, which was unnerving enough. But then Lily had whispered in her ear, "Zoe, why don't you try something like that with Leo?" That had given her goosebumps. Little did Zoe know, Lily's words had planted an invisible seed in her mind. "Lily, what about this one?" Ethan held up a loose-fitting kimono-style robe. It was embroidered with a beautiful peony pattern along the hem. It's pretty," Lily said, but her back was turned to him, her tone completely blowing him off. "Right? You didn't even look at it, and you're saying it's pretty." Ethan was about to scold her when she suddenly spun around, her eyes wide with a strange obsession. "Ethan, you should try wearing this." In her hands, Lily was holding up a T-shaped. "I refuse." Ethan quickly snatched the thong from her before anyone saw, shoved it back on the rack, and grabbed her by the wrist, dragging her away. "No, Ethan's thong." "Shut up." While Ethan was picking out some casual clothes, a small toddler came wobbling over, arms outstretched, babbling at him. Whose kid is this?" Ethan put the clothes in their cart and crouched down. "Hi there, little one. Where are your mommy and daddy?" Hawawa. The little girl was thrilled to see Ethan crouch down and was about to reach out and touch his face when she was suddenly lifted into the air. What an adorable little friend. Lily cooed, holding the girl, but the smile on her face was unnaturally stiff. "Little girl, what do you think you were about to do to my Ethan? Did your parents not teach you to keep your hands to yourself?" "Oh." The girl, feeling herself getting further from Ethan, saw her happy expression instantly vanish. Her lower lip began to tremble. Because Lily's back was to him, Ethan couldn't see her expression. "Lily, I think she's lost. Let's take her to customer service and help her find her parents." "Okay." Lily nodded, then looked down at the little girl. "Don't be scared, little one. Big sister will protect you." Hearing the saccharine sweetness in Lily's voice, the little girl immediately clammed her mouth shut. Her eyes glazed over as she stared blankly at the ceiling, her body twitching slightly as if she was deeply regretting the decision to wander away from her parents. "My baby, my child." A middle-aged woman ran over when she saw the girl in Lily's arms. To avoid any misunderstanding, Ethan quickly spoke up. "Excuse me, is this your daughter? We found her wandering in the aisle, and we're about to take her to the service desk." Yes. Thank you so much," the woman said gratefully. "Mommy." The moment the little girl saw her mother, she burst into tears, looking thoroughly terrified. This confirmed for Ethan that the woman was indeed her mother. "Lily, it looks like this is her mom." Lily handed the girl over, then gently pinched her cheek. "Don't go wandering off again, okay, little one?" At the sound of Lily's voice, the girl's crying intensified. After a final round of thanks from the mother, Ethan and Lily finally left. Lily linked her arm through Ethan's, a look of pure, unadulterated joy on her face. It was the look of a victor. "Why are you so happy?" Ethan asked, pushing the shopping cart. "You must really like kids." "Of course." Lily leaned her head on his shoulder, her expression blissful. "But not right now. I haven't had enough time with just you yet. We should wait until at least a few years from now." "You were about to say the next life, weren't you?" Ethan mused, gently squishing her cheek. "I'll never pressure you, Lily. Whenever you're ready is fine with me. All I want is for you to be happy. That's enough for me. But I do hope that we can leave our mark on this world together someday." Hearing this, Lily stopped in her tracks. She looked up at Ethan, silent, as her pale blue eyes slowly began to shift to a shade of pink. Feeling the tug on his arm, Ethan turned back. "Lily? What's wrong?" Lily. Suddenly, she moved. Her hand shot out and gripped his wrist with surprising strength, her face a mask of delirious obsession. "From now on, Ethan, you have to, with me, at least 100 times. 100. What do you think I am, a jackrabbit? I'll die." Ethan was so flustered he was practically shouting nonsense. Just kidding," Lily said, pressing her lips together. "You'd better be." Ethan had to take this seriously. If she wasn't kidding, he was looking at a one-way ticket to hell. Just as they were about to check out, Lily suddenly grabbed a carton of milk from a cooler. What's the milk for?" "It's all your fault, Ethan. You made me imagine such a happy, beautiful future. But what does that have to do with milk?" "Well, to conserve resources, I'll just have to drink milk, won't I?" "What does that mean?" "Nothing. You'll find out someday, Ethan." Ethan thought about it for a long time, but couldn't make any sense of it. He chalked it up to Lily just being weird. All right, we've got everything. We should go meet up with Leo and Zoe. Okay. As Ethan was packing their new purchases into a bag, he saw it. A T-shaped piece of fabric lying at the very bottom. Lily, can you tell me what this is? Eh. Degree. In my foot. Take it back right now. Thank you. Please come again. The moment Ethan White dragged his suitcase out of the mall's automatic doors, he saw Zoe Reed and Leo King waiting for him. Ethan, finally. Leo fanned his face dramatically. I'm seriously melting out here. Sorry, got held up for a minute. No worries. You ready? The spa lodge is up on Mount Crestview. We should get going, right? And with that, the three of them headed towards the mountain resort. Lena, time to eat. Damian Blackwood entered the room, carrying a bowl of clam chowder. I made sure it has plenty of your favorite shrimp in it. Lena's tired eyes fluttered open. I don't have the energy, she said, her voice weak. I don't want to eat. No, you can't say that, Lena. Damian sat on the edge of the bed, stirring the chowder with a spoon. You have to eat to get your strength back. So, no matter what, you have to have at least a little. Ugh, fine. Just get it over with. Lena sighed, reluctantly opening her mouth. That's my girl. Pleased with her cooperation, Damian scooped up a spoonful and brought it to her lips. Lena swallowed. The savory, creamy taste of the chowder, mixed with the delicate sweetness of the shrimp, managed to stir a flicker of an appetite she didn't think she had. Watching Damian feed her, she was struck by the strange feeling that she didn't completely hate him anymore. Being kept by him like this. Maybe it wasn't so bad. And why did he seem more and more handsome every time she looked at him? Damian. He stopped, looking up to meet her gaze. What is it, Lena? Can I ask you something? Anything. Ask me 100 things. I'll tell you whatever you want to know, Lena. Including everything about the corporation. TCH. Who wants your stupid corporation? I'm not that kind of person. Lena protested, then caught herself. Wait. Why am I even defending myself to him? What am I doing? Damian rested his chin on his hand, looking at her with an intoxicating fondness. Does this mean you've accepted me, Lena? Don't change the subject, she hissed, her teeth clenched. She tried to lunge forward, but the restraints held her back, only allowing a slight lean. Were you just like your father, Harrison? Did you just want to use me to climb your way into the Ainsworth family? At this, Damian's eyes closed for a moment. He set the half-eaten bowl of chowder on the nightstand. Don't you understand yet, Lena? He leaned over her, his body pressing down, making it hard for her to breathe. If I wanted to align with them, why would I have taken you? Why would I risk everything to snatch you away from them? And why would I have waited for you year after agonizing year? How is that possible? You're the CEO of a corporation. You have to be ambitious. My ambition, he whispered, his voice dangerously low, is you. Before she could process it, he tilted his head and kissed her. Lena's eyes flew wide open, her mind reeling. Am I really worth all this? I'm just a pawn, a worthless little pawn. Whoa, this view is incredible. Ethan pulled back the curtains of their room at the lodge. A thin layer of mist drifted through the pine forest below, and the air was filled with a chorus of birdsong and the gentle murmur of a nearby stream. Ethan, the view in here is even better. Where? He turned his head and immediately threw his hands over his eyes, his face flushing scarlet. Lily, WH what? You. A delicate, silk-clad body pressed against him, carrying a faint, sweet fragrance. Do you like what you see, Ethan? It's nice. Very nice. Then, why don't you take a closer look? Lily purred, slowly drawing the curtains closed again before pressing her lips to his. As the sky darkened, lights began to twinkle on across the resort. A bell chimed softly as the door to a small corner store opened, and a striking figure stepped inside. Hello, can I help you with something? A raspy, elderly voice called from behind the counter. This must be it. Scarlett Vance murmured to herself before looking at the old woman. Hello, ma'am. I was wondering if you recognize this place. She slid a small slip of paper across the counter. Lost, are you, dear? Don't you worry. I've been here a long time. I know pretty much every. The old woman's voice trailed off as she looked down at the address. She froze. This? Who gave you this address? Oh, a friend of mine. She used to live there. The old woman was silent for a long moment. This was my sister's address, she said slowly. What do you want with her? Really? Scarlett's voice was filled with excitement. Then you must know Lena. Lena. The old woman shook her head. Never heard of her. My sister lived pretty far from me, and with the store keeping me and my husband busy, we didn't see each other much. Then one day, I got a call from hospital, and that's when I found out. Her expression clouded over with a deep sadness. And now, my husband is gone, my sister is gone. Just me left, a useless old woman. So it's a dead end. Scarlett felt a wave of helplessness wash over her. She slumped to the floor and began to sob. I'm so sorry, Lena. I promised I'd help you, but it's all for nothing. Now, child, don't cry. The old woman came around the counter, helped Scarlet to her feet, and handed her a few tissues. From the sound of it, you're looking for someone? Maybe I can help ask around. Thank you, ma'am, but it's no use, Scarlet said through her tears. Beside my sister-in-law, nobody else knew Lena or Lily. What did you say? The old woman gripped Scarlet's hands, her eyes wide with shock. Who did you just say? Lena. I mean, the person I was just talking about. No, the next name. Who was the next one? Lily. That's Lena's daughter. But I'm afraid she's probably impossible to find by now. Lily? The old woman gasped. Are you talking about a girl named Lily Foster? Wait. Scarlet's head snapped up, fresh tear tracks glistening on her cheeks. You know her. Know her. The old woman's hands began to tremble. Child, I know her better than anyone. This is destiny. Achoo. Lily let out a small sneeze. Don't catch a cold, Ethan murmured, pulling a corner of the duvet up over her shoulders. Lily hummed, snuggling closer into his chest. Lily, what is it? He held her tighter. Ever since I came to this world, you've been the one person who's never left my side. Thank you so much, Lily. Meeting you in this strange place. It's been the only thing that's kept me going. Lily's heart swelled with a sweetness that was better than any candy. He can't live without me. Looks like my Ethan will be mine forever. It's me who should be thanking you, Lily whispered, closing her eyes. With you here, Ethan, I can finally see the beauty this world has to offer. The world was always beautiful. No, her eyes opened, shining with an intense light. You, Ethan, are the only beautiful thing in this world. Ethan said nothing, simply holding the girl in his arms. Lily, how could I ever leave you when you say things like that? Ethan, she cooed, rubbing her face against his neck like a cat. Your scent is so intoxicating. It's like catnip. Lily, stop, that tickles. Sniff, sniff. She inhaled deeply, burying her nose against his skin. Just then, a voice echoed from outside their room. Yo, Ethan, you too decent? It's time for the hot springs. Leo King's voice was accompanied by a firm knock on the door. Coming. Almost ready. Ethan jolted out of bed and started frantically searching for his swim trunks, calling over his shoulder, Lily, hurry. It's Leo. The room filled with the rustling sound of clothes being hastily thrown on. Outside, Leo stood with his hands laced behind his head. Zoe, that robe looks great on you. Zoe was wearing a white, yukata-style robe printed with a delicate pattern of camellia flowers. Paired with her naturally innocent expression, she exuded a fresh, youthful charm. Thanks, Leo, she said shyly, her hands clasped in front of her. The door clicked open. Lily emerged, her usually straight hair piled elegantly on her head, giving her a surprisingly mature look. She wore a stunning, ornately embroidered silk robe that made her look like a princess from a forgotten dynasty. Wow, Lily. Zoe's eyes sparkled as she examined the robe. You look so beautiful. Thanks, Zoe. You look really cute, too. Come on, Lily, let's go. I can't wait. Zoe grabbed Lily's hand and pulled her towards the spa entrance. Let's go, bro, Leo said, clapping Ethan on the shoulder. Yeah. When they arrived at the hot springs, they found a main public pool was already packed. I'm so sorry, the receptionist said apologetically. We're full right now. Would you be interested in the private pools? They're perfect for 1 or 2 people, and they're separated by gender, of course. That actually sounds nice, Zoe said, blushing slightly. The big pool feels a little exposed. What do you think, Lily? A private pool is fine, Lily nodded. If everyone's cool with it, then let's do that, Leo said to the receptionist. We'll take 2 private pools for the 4 of us, please. Understood. The receptionist handed them 4 wristbands. Here are the keys. Please keep them safe. Pink is for the women's side. Blue is for the men's. Don't get them mixed up. Enjoy your stay. They took the wristbands and headed towards the baths. Unseen by the others, Lily's eyes lingered for a moment on the blue band on Ethan's wrist. See you in a bit, Leo called, waving to Zoe. See you. The group split, entering their respective sides of the spa. Clack! A bamboo fountain tipped its watery contents onto a stone, the sound echoing as steam rose from the hot spring pool. Woo! The king has arrived, Leo yelled, launching himself into the water with a massive cannonball. Splash! Water soaked the floor at Ethan's feet. He clenched his fists. Did he think this was the Olympic diving trials? Dude, what are you waiting for? Get in, Leo asked. The private bath was outdoors, with a view of the sky and the distant mountains. Just a single wall separated the men's pool from the women's. Crack! A loud, violent sound erupted from the other side of the wall. Lily, what are you doing? You're going to break the wall. Zoe's shriek pierced the air. Ahem. Cough. Cough. Leo started coughing violently, trying to pretend he hadn't just boasted about his epic entrance. Bad move, bad move, bad move. Forgot about that. Gotta be careful now, or I might not see the sun tomorrow. This is so relaxing. Ethan sighed as he sank into the pool, a wave of comfort washing over him. I never knew hot springs were so. Lily, no climbing the wall. Get down. Zoe screamed again. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Leo waved his hands frantically, trying to explain the situation to a wall. Eventually, a tense silence fell over both pools. No one dared to make another sound. Ahem. Ethan was the first to break the quiet. So, Leo, what's the plan for tomorrow? Leo seized the opportunity. Let's go see the sunrise. I heard the view from the top of the mountain is amazing. Yeah, that's a great idea. We saw the sunset on Mount Crestview before, remember? Exactly. It's perfect. A beginning to match the end. With the conversation started, the girl's side came to life as well. Glub, glub, glub. Zoe had half her head submerged, blowing bubbles. What are you doing? Lily asked, curious about her friend's strange behavior. Lily, I think there are bugs crawling all over me. Zoe cried, popping her head out of the water. Are they biting you? No. Zoe shook her head. It's just, when I think about all those snacks in my suitcase waiting for me, I can't stand it anymore. A slow, knowing smile spread across Lily's lips. After soaking for so long, a nice snack back in a room would probably feel amazing right about now, wouldn't it? You're right. Zoe shot up out of the water in a flash. All my little snacks are waiting for me, Zoe declared, pumping her fists as she climbed out of the hot spring. Oh, right. She turned back to Lily. Are you coming back with me? I think I'll soak a little longer, Lily said, closing her eyes in a picture of pure bliss. Okay then, I'm heading out. Zoe waved and disappeared behind the curtain, leading back inside. The moment she was gone, Lily's eyes snapped open, her full attention fixed on the wall separating the two pools. Phew, I'm done. Any longer, and I'll get dizzy, Leo announced, shaking his head as if he were about to leave. Hey, you're so weak, Leo. Look at me. I've been in here forever and I'm fine, Ethan scoffed. Oh, you're feeling cocky now, are you? Leo's eyes widened. So you're saying you're in pretty good shape? Huh? Isn't it obvious? Ethan struck a classic jidud-like muscle pose, tilting his chin at Leo smugly. Okay, if that's how you want to play it. Leo headed inside to change. It's lonely at the top, Ethan sighed, folding a small towel and placing it on his forehead as he leaned back to enjoy the soothing water. When Leo, now dressed, opened the door to the men's spa, he saw a pair of pale blue eyes peering through a crack in the door of the women's spa across the corridor. Pretending not to notice, he tucked his towel under his arm and started walking back to his room. As he walked, a wristband suddenly fell to the floor. Oh shoot, how can I drop the spa key right here by the door? I'm so clumsy, Leo exclaimed in mock surprise. Oh well, what's dropped is dropped. I'm sure some kind soul will return it for me. With that, he hurried away. Once the hallway was empty, Lily slowly pushed open her door, a small basket with her clothes in hand. In a flash, she snatched the blue wristband off the floor, swiped it against the lock of the men's spa, and slipped inside. Back at the service desk, returning his towel, Leo shook his head with a sigh. It's not my fault, Ethan. You dug your own grave. I have a feeling you're going to be the weak one tomorrow. Ah, perfect, Ethan murmured, leaning his back against the indoor doorway, his eyes closed in blissful relaxation. Just then a small hand touched his back. Who's there? Ethan spun around to see Lily, a mischievous grin on her face. Lily, what are you doing here? She leaned in, wrapping her arms around his neck from behind. Didn't you say you were in great shape, Ethan? I thought I'd come and see for myself. No, that was a lie. I'm actually terminally ill, beyond saving. Oh, Lily's voice was laced with meaning. Then we should make the most of it, while you're still warm. Clack. The bamboo fountain tipped again, sending ripples across the water that refused to settle. You're telling me that this misses. Gable, you've not only seen Lily, but you've taken care of her. Yes, but the old woman's expression fell. Her story, it's just too hard to bear. As Mrs. Gable spoke, Scarlett's expression shifted from joy to ice, and finally, to rage. That scumbag. Scarlett slammed her fist on the counter, her breath coming in ragged, angry gasps. Death was too good for him. Right. Ma'am, where's Lily now? Oh, her. The corners of the old woman's mouth turned up in a gentle smile as she gazed at something far beyond the shop window. Lily is doing very well now. Ever since she got together with that boy, her smile. It used to be so hollow, so forced. Now it's pure and natural. It's like a dark road was suddenly flooded with light, chasing all the shadows away. As long as she's doing well. Scarlett breathed a sigh of relief, her hand on her chest. Wait, ma'am, what did you just say? A boy. That's right. A very good boy who treats her well. No. Scarlett's fury returned, a stark contrast to her icy demeanor moments before. What's his name? If he so much as touches a hair on her head, I'll make him understand the meaning of pain. But Lily really likes. He must have tricked her. My poor niece barely escaped one monster just to fall into the clutches of another. Scarlett wouldn't listen, her mind already painting a dozen terrible scenarios. Ma'am, you have to tell me where she is. I will do whatever it takes to save her from that wicked villain. Somebody save me. Ethan barely managed to crawl out of the hot spring pool before he was dragged back in. Not yet. The last thing he remembered was being half-carried back to his room. Munch, munch, munch. Zoe was engrossed in a TV show, her hand dipping rhythmically into a bag of chips. Beside her, Leo suddenly started snickering. Zoe tilted her head, looking at him curiously. Leo, what are you laughing at? You've been grinning like an idiot since we got back to the room. It's nothing. Leo tried to put on a serious face, but a fresh wave of laughter broke through. We'll see how cocky Ethan is now. Ugh, where am I? Ethan woke up, his head pounding. Besides the chirping of crickets, he could hear a faint, steady breathing next to him. I remember. I was in a hot spring. And then, the memories of what happened next came flooding back. Did I black out? Is that even possible? He glanced at Lily beside him, relieved to see her eyes weren't glowing their usual pale blue. He let out a soft sigh. Am I being too lenient with her? It feels like I'm always on the defensive, and she always manages to break through. A slow smile spread across his face. He reached out, the moonlight illuminating his hand as he gently stroked her soft cheek. But what can I do? You're Lily, so what if I indulge you a little? I'll never let you get hurt again. Huh? He felt something wet on his fingertips. He brought his hand closer and saw that it was slick with her tears. Lily? You're awake? He whispered in surprise. A pair of eyes as flawless as blue sapphires opened and looked into his. Ethan, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. I love you. It was a clear, bright morning. I've taught for half a lifetime. I have no regrets. Mr. Davis placed the last box of his belongings into the trunk of his car. He looked at the school building standing before him and sighed, a sound of both relief and melancholy. Excuse me, are you a teacher at this school? Who's there? Mr. Davis turned to see a beautiful, well-dressed woman standing behind him. And you are? He asked, adjusting his glasses, his tone wary. Hello, sir. I was wondering if a student named Lily Foster attends this school. Lily Foster? Mr. Davis's eyes narrowed slightly. Sorry, I don't know anyone by that name. This teacher is no fool, Scarlett thought. Seeing his caution, she decided to reveal her identity. I apologize, sir. I'm actually a friend of Lily's mother. I've come to find Lily at her mother's request. Lily's mother? Mr. Davis's voice suddenly grew sharp with emotion. Let me get this straight. A mother who has ignored her daughter for over a decade suddenly sends a friend to find her, instead of coming herself? That doesn't quite add up, does it? It's not like that. Lena had her reasons. Scarlett retorted. Reasons? All I saw was a little girl, broken and alone, with no family to protect her. Mr. Davis closed his eyes. But things are better now. Scarlett bit her lip and lowered her head. For some reason, her usual brash and commanding presence vanished in front of Mr. Davis. She felt like a student being reprimanded, unable to talk back. Oh, what the hell, Mr. Davis thought. Letting the girl see her long-lost mother might not be a bad thing. No matter how bad it gets, at least she has someone by her side now. An image of Ethan White flashed through his mind. I'm sorry, Mr. Davis said. I got a little emotional. Are you really a friend of Lily's mother? Yes. Scarlett took a photo of Lena from her pocket and handed it to him. A photograph? How does that prove? His thoughts stopped short when he saw the person in the picture. The girl's face was a perfect mirror image of Lily's, the only difference being her hair color. This is Lily Foster. No, sir. This is a picture of Lily's mother when she was a child, Scarlett explained. Do you believe me now? Mr. Davis pondered for a moment before handing the photo back. All right, I'll call my student and have him bring Lily here. We can talk more when they arrive. Thank you, sir. You've been a great help. Scarlett bowed her head gratefully. May I ask your name? You can just call me Mr. Davis, he said, pulling out his phone. Of course. Thank you. BZZT. BZZT. The vibration of his phone roused Ethan from his sleep. Who is it? He mumbled, grabbing his phone. When he saw the caller ID, he was instantly wide awake. Mr. Davis? Why is he calling me at this hour? He glanced at Lily, who was still sleeping soundly, and tiptoed out onto the balcony. Hello. Good morning, Ethan, Mr. Davis's voice came through the phone. Mr. Davis, is everything okay? I wanted to ask if you were free. There's someone here who wants to meet you and Lily. Ethan? So that's her boyfriend's name, Scarlett thought, committing it to memory. You'd better be good to Lily, kid, or I'll make sure you end up at the bottom of the ocean. Someone wants to see me and Lily? Who? She says she's a friend of Lily's mother. Lily's mother? Ethan's voice cracked with emotion. How can that be? I thought Lily was. I was just as confused until her mother's friend showed me a photo of her as a child. I can't say they look alike. They look exactly the same. What? Ethan's mind went blank. Lily's mother? So suddenly? Is this good or bad? My head is spinning. Ethan, maybe you should bring Lily over to see. If this gives her a chance to find her real family, it could be a good thing. I understand, Ethan said. But Mr. Davis, Lily and I are still on vacation up on Mount Crestview. It might take us a little while to get back. That's fine. When you get here, just come find me in my old office. Okay. Ethan hung up, his hand falling limply to his side. I don't know if this is good or bad for Lily, but we have to at least meet her. As he turned to get dressed, he saw Lily standing there, her hands behind her back, wearing one of his white t-shirts. She was watching him. What are you planning to do, Ethan? She asked, tilting her head with a smile that was chillingly unsettling. Lily, you're awake. He jumped, clutching his chest. What were you just talking about, Ethan? I could have sworn I heard something about me. Lily, Mr. Davis just called. Someone wants to see you. Oh, your mother. Silence. The air grew heavy and still. After a long moment, Lily began to shake her head, faster and faster. Mother? No. Lily doesn't have a mother, and she doesn't need one. Lily only needs Ethan. That's enough. Right, Ethan? She had become manic, possessed by a frantic energy, as if her mind refused to accept this new reality. Was it the shock of a sudden family, or a deeper, more primal fear? Lily, I think you should at least. Before he could finish, she lunged at him, a small, sharp knife suddenly in her right hand, its blade pressed against her own throat. Ethan, let's just go, okay? Let's go somewhere no one can ever find us. Just the two of us in our own world. Just us. Lily, what are you doing? Ethan shouted, horrified to see her about to hurt herself. He reached out, trying to grab the knife. Put the knife down. That's too dangerous. No, I won't be separated from you. She dragged the blade across her neck, creating a thin red line. A trickle of hot blood ran down her pale skin. Maybe I'll just kill you, Ethan, she whispered, her voice laced with a terrifying obsession, her crimson eyes glowing with a crazed light. And then I'll kill myself. That way, we can be together forever. Stop it. Ethan grabbed the blade, squeezing so hard that the edge sliced into his palm. Blood dripped onto the floor, splattering onto Lily's clothes. The metallic scent hit her nostrils, and her pupils contracted. She froze, looking down like a startled rabbit. Ethan, I'm sorry. She stammered, her lips trembling, her face a mask of fear. It's okay. Taking his chance, Ethan used his other hand to pull her into his arms, holding her tight. I know you were just scared we'd be separated, right? Lily saw that he wasn't afraid of her. In fact, his expression was filled with concern. Like this. How could I ever bring myself to hurt him? She sobbed, her head bowed. She took his injured hand in both of hers, tears splashing onto his skin. When I think about you leaving me, I just lose control. Silly girl. How many times have I told you? He used his good hand to gently lift her chin, looking deeply into her eyes. I am never, ever going to leave you. Then why do you want to take me back there? I don't want to see some so-called family. I only need you, Ethan. A gentle smile touched his lips. He wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. Because I want to tell your family that I, Ethan White, can take good care of my Lily, so they don't need to worry about a thing. Oh. Lily covered her mouth, a muffled sob escaping. The knife, slick with his blood, fell from her grasp and clattered onto the floor. She sank to her knees. I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm so sorry. Ignoring the stinging pain in his hand, Ethan leaned down and kissed her. So please, face this with me, okay? We will never be separated. Lily nodded, then scrambled over to their suitcase. She frantically opened it and pulled out the first aid kit they'd bought at the mall, her hands moving with practiced efficiency as she began to clean and bandage his wound. After it was all done, she stared at his bandaged hand and looked away, unable to meet his eyes. Ethan held his injured hand out in front of her. You tied a very pretty butterfly knot, Lily. She glanced at it, her expression sinking even lower. After her extreme behavior, she didn't dare respond. Where did the clever, mischievous, vibrant Lily Foster go? Ethan teased, gently pinching her cheek with a grin. Weren't you just talking about punishing me every day? And now you can't even look at me. His words were like a warm sun on a winter day, melting the ice around her heart. Ethan, she whispered, leaning forward and wrapping her arms around him. Thank you. He simply held her, whispering in her ear, a lifetime together. Yes, a lifetime together. What? You're leaving? Leo said, surprised. So, suddenly? I thought we were going to see the sunrise. Yeah, about that. Mister, Davis called. Someone wants to see Lily, so we have to head back. Ethan scratched his head awkwardly. Behind him, Lily stood silently, her hand clutching his. I see. Well, that's a shame, Leo sighed. Ethan, is your hand okay? Zoe asked, pointing to the bandage. Oh, this. Ethan explained. I just cut it by accident while I was packing yesterday. It's all taken care of. He gave Lily's trembling hand a gentle squeeze, then intertwined their fingers. Sorry to ruin the fun, Leo. Hey, we're brothers. Don't say that, Leo said, waving it off. Zoe and I will just stay here a few more days. You guys head back. Okay. Have a great trip. Be safe on the road. After saying their goodbyes, Ethan and Lily began their journey home. After what had happened, Lily was incredibly docile, sticking close to Ethan like a gentle fawn. Ethan, let me take the suitcase, she said quickly, seeing him dragging it with his injured hand. Seeing the guilt on her face, Ethan handed it over. Thanks, Lily. Just let me know if it gets too heavy. She took the handle and smiled, as if this small act could atone for her earlier transgression. This should make her feel a little better, Ethan thought. Mr. Davis, are you saying that Ethan risked his life to save Lily? Scarlett asked, sitting on the sofa and cradling a cup of hot water. That's right. I don't know what got into that reckless brat. Didn't even call the police, just charged right in by himself. It's a miracle nothing terrible happened. Mr. Davis said, a hint of exasperation in his voice. So the kid has guts, Scarlett thought, taking a sip of the hot water. SSSS hot. So, when I saw them together, I decided to turn a blind eye. In my opinion, they're a perfect match. You're a good teacher, Mr. Davis. No, I was just doing my duty. Scarlett closed her eyes. Ethan White. I'm looking forward to meeting you. She had no idea that Mr. Davis's words had completely changed her perception of him. All passengers, please exit in an orderly fashion. As they stepped off the train, Ethan could feel Lily's grip on his hand tighten, almost cutting off his circulation. Lily, come with me. He led her to a more secluded spot and gently lifted her chin. Ethan, she asked, looking at him curiously. I don't want to see you like this, so timid and scared, he said, his expression full of sorrow. I much prefer the confident, poised Lily I know. I could never hate you, Lily, so please. Come back to me. Ethan, tears welled up in her eyes and spilled down her cheeks. I understand. She closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were filled with her usual vibrant energy and a deep, consuming love. Ethan, she cooed, my stomach is so hungry. She stood on her tiptoes and on the polished station floor. Their two reflections merged into one. After a long moment, Ethan finally pulled away, gasping for air. He watched Lily lick her lips, savoring the taste, and sighed in relief. Now that's the Lily I know. She linked her arm through his and pouted. You are mine for this lifetime. No one can ever take you away. Ethan pulled her close, stroking her hair. Not just this life. The next one, too. Scarlett stared blankly out the window at a small bird hopping on a branch. The long wait was starting to wear on her patience. Beside her, Mr. Davis was calmly flipping through a textbook, a tattered old copy he'd read 1,000 times, even in retirement. Just then, a knock came from the door. Knock, knock, knock. A familiar voice followed. Mr. Davis? It's Ethan and Lily. We're here. In a flash, Scarlett's gaze shot to the door. Ethan White. Let's see what you're really made of. Come in. At Mr. Davis's words, the office door swung open, and Ethan appeared in the doorway. He first glanced at Mr. Davis in his chair, then his eyes moved to Scarlett on the sofa. Hello. Scarlett shot to her feet and walked right up to Ethan. She was about to speak when another figure suddenly blocked her path. Lena. Scarlett blurted out before realizing her mistake. No, this is Lily. Lily, you're Lily, aren't you? Before Scarlett could finish, Lily spoke, her eyes narrowed. Excuse me, ma'am, but could you please stay away from my boyfriend? Scarlett was frozen on the spot. This personality is so familiar. Mr. Davis stood up and clapped Ethan on the shoulder. I'll leave this to you all. I'm going to go for a walk. Before Ethan could react, Mr. Davis had slipped out the door. Ahem. Ethan broke the silence, closing the office door behind him. He turned to Scarlett. "Excuse me, miss. Are you here to see Lily?" "Miss." Scarlett was taken aback by his polite term, then shook her head with a small smile. "So you're my niece Lily's boyfriend, Ethan White?" "Yes." Ethan nodded calmly, his eyes sizing her up. "She's beautiful, but she doesn't look anything like Lily. So who is she?" As he was thinking, Lily suddenly sat down on his lap, completely blocking his view. "Ma'am, who are you? And why are you looking for me?" Lily's sharp gaze was a clear warning to Scarlett not to make a wrong move. "I know what this feeling is." An image of someone she despised flashed through Scarlett's mind, Damian Blackwood. Lily's possessive actions, her words, her eyes. They're just like his. "You're Lily, right?" Scarlett sat down on the other end of the sofa, her eyes fixed on Lily's face. "Yes, this has to be Lena's daughter. I'm a friend of your mother's. She sent me to find you." "I don't have a mother," Lily interrupted. "As long as I can remember, I've been alone. I don't have parents." "Lily, it's not what you think," Scarlett tried to explain. "Your mother didn't abandon you on purpose." "Enough." Lily stood up, staring daggers at Scarlett. "I don't have a mother, and I don't need one. All I need is Ethan. Please don't bother us again." With that, Lily took Ethan's hand and pulled him out of the office. As they left, Ethan shot an apologetic look back at Scarlett, as if silently asking her not to be angry with Lily. After they were gone, Scarlett was left alone. "Lily is too emotional. She won't listen to a word I say. I'd better talk to Lena first." Lily slowed down. Ethan was being practically dragged by Lily. Her pace was so fast. But she didn't listen. It wasn't until they were back inside their apartment that she finally let go of his hand. Ethan set the suitcase down. Before he could even take off his shoes, Lily's body slammed into his, pinning him against the door. Her hands pressed against his chest as she looked at him with worried eyes. "Ethan, that woman from before, she must have been mistaken, right?" I can't say for sure, but based on what she said, her credibility is pretty low." "See." Lily breathed a sigh of relief and rested her head on his chest. "Lily doesn't need any family. Lily just needs Ethan. That's enough." "But Lily, I think, MMPH." Before Ethan could finish, Lily silenced him with a kiss. "Don't think about it, Ethan. We should be thinking about other things right now." Inside, Lily's heart was in turmoil. She didn't want to lift the veil that covered her past. She didn't want to face what was underneath. Or rather, it wasn't that she didn't want to face it. She refused to acknowledge it. Ever since Lena had been brought back to Damian's home, she hadn't put up much of a fight. As a result, Damian would occasionally take her out for walks. "After all these years, you're still taking care of it." Lena stroked the trunk of an old apple tree, looking up at its lush, green leaves, so full of life. "Of course. This tree is a witness to our story, Lena." Damian placed his hand over hers, their fingers intertwining. Lena said nothing, but she stole a quick glance at him. It was a glance that didn't escape his notice. He grabbed her hand and pinned her against the tree. What are you doing? Why were you sneaking glances at me just now, Lena?" I was looking at the apples on the tree." "Not at you," she stammered, her face flushing red. "You're not being honest, Lena, and dishonest girls deserve to be punished." He was about to lean in when a vibration came from Lena's pocket. "Damian, wait. My phone is ringing." That's not a valid excuse. He wasn't about to let her go, and he kissed her deeply. Strange, why isn't Lena answering my call? Scarlett looked at her phone's call log and stomped her foot in frustration. Just then, Mr. Davis returned from his walk. "Miss Vance, is there something else I can help you with?" "Mr. Davis, could you tell me where that boy lives?" A single leaf drifted down from the apple tree, landing softly on Lena's hair. Damian pulled back, his hot breath ghosting across her neck. "Damian, let me go. That must be Scarlett calling me." Damian reached up, plucked the leaf from her hair, and crushed it in his fist. Just then, the phone in Lena's pocket rang again. She reached for it, but Damian was faster. "Give it to me." He glanced at the caller ID, Scarlett Vance, and relaxed. An idea sparked in his mind. He answered the call, put it on speaker, and held it near Lena's mouth while he buried his face in her neck. Damian, what are you doing?" "Shoo, keep your voice down. We wouldn't want anyone to hear, would we?" "MMPH." Lena shot him a glare and then, composing herself, spoke into the phone. "Hello, Scarlett, what's up?" "Lena, you finally answered." Scarlett's voice came through the speaker. "What were you doing?" "Oh, I was just busy with something, so I didn't hear it ring." "Is that so?" Scarlett paused for a moment, then her voice grew urgent. "Listen, Lena, the favor you asked me to do. I found her." "What?" Lena's excited shriek was so loud it even startled Damian. "Scarlett, what did you say?" "You found her." Beside her, Damian's brow furrowed slightly. "Found? Found what?" "Yes, I found Lily. She's right here in Northridge. Oh, thank God. Lena's body went limp, and she would have collapsed if Damien hadn't caught her. Sob, you found her. You found her. Lena wept into her hands, the knot of grief she'd carried for years finally unraveling. Lily? Why does that name sound so familiar? And why is Lena reacting like? Damien remained silent, watching her. Lily, my Lily, I have to see her. Lena suddenly looked up at Damien. Damien, please, let me go to Northridge. Seeing her tear-streaked face, Damien felt a prickle of annoyance. Who is Lily? Lena's next words made his world stop. Lily is our daughter, she choked out, pounding weakly on his chest, the secret she'd buried for so long finally escaping. What? Damien staggered back, his ears ringing. My daughter? Yes. Her name is Lily Foster. The name hit him like a physical blow. He remembered the girl at the airport, the one who looked exactly like his Lena. He remembered the man, with her calling her Lily. Two powerful emotions surged through him. The dizzying joy of discovering he was a father, and a deep, simmering rage. Why, Lena? Why didn't you tell me? She lowered her head. Because I was afraid. I was afraid that if the family found out about her, she would be. Her evasive gaze told him she had been afraid of him, too. Damien pulled her into his arms. Lena, don't worry, he said softly. The Ainsworth family doesn't dare to challenge me anymore. And I'm not the man you think I am. You don't hate children. How could I? She's the symbol of our love, isn't she? Damien, I want to see her. Okay, I'll go with you. He patted her back comfortingly, then pulled out his phone and dialed a number. After a single ring, a voice answered. Mr. Blackwood, how may I help you? Is this how you handle the tasks I give you? Damien's voice was ice. The man on the other end hesitated. Sir, which task are you referring to? Are you tired of living? Is this the kind of background check you run on a teenage girl? Sir, it's not my fault. I checked her records. It said she was from an orphanage, and you told me not to bother you with minor details. Enough, Damien snapped. Arrange a private jet to Northridge for me. Now, if you don't, you won't see another sunrise. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. The man on the other end was clearly terrified. Damien ended the call and took Lena's hand. It's all arranged, Lena. We'll go to Northridge soon. Okay, she whispered, clutching his shirt. Oh, by the way, Lena, Scarlett's voice piped up from the phone again. Lily, she might be a little resistant. Resistant? What do you mean? Back at the apartment, Ethan had just finished showering. He walked to the bedroom door and found Lily lying on his bed, her eyes open, staring at the window. Ethan, she said quietly, do you think what that woman said is true? I don't know. Well, do you hope it's true? Yes. Why? She sat up abruptly, her face devoid of expression. I don't want it to be true at all. Why would you? Ethan wrapped his arms around her waist. There are so many wonderful things in this world for you to experience, Lily. Family is one of them. And besides, didn't I tell you? I'm not going to leave you. I just want you to be happier. Lily buried her face in his chest. After a long moment, she spoke. I don't care. I only want you, Ethan. So does that mean you agree? Just to meet them. Okay. Ethan stroked her cheek. Just to meet them. Oh no, what am I going to do? Lena fretted in the back of the car, her hands clutching her head. What if Lily won't accept me as her mother? Don't worry, Lena. I'm here. Damien, do you mean you'll convince her not to push me away? No. I mean, she might not accept you as her mother, but I'll accept you as my wife. Lena looked at him, wishing she could slap him. She gripped her hands in a fist in her lap. Damien, she said, her voice firm, if our family is reunited, I will officially marry you. Oh, Damien looked at Lena, intrigued. I thought you hated me, Lena. I don't hate you anymore, she mumbled, turning to look out the window. Right now, I just want our family to be together, to live happily. Damien could feel it. The wall of resentment she'd built around herself was crumbling, being replaced by something else, something warm and familial. Don't worry, Lena. I will bring Lily back. Trust me, okay. Fine. I'll trust you for now, she said. When he didn't respond, she turned her head back and found his face was inches from hers. Damien, you MMPH. There are people here. It's fine. If they dare to look, I'll make sure their eyes get donated to someone who needs them. In the front seat, the two bodyguards stiffened, their gazes fixed resolutely on the road ahead. Wow, sure is a lot of traffic on this road, one said woodenly. Yep, the road is very road-like today, the other replied. Lying on Ethan's chest, Lily could feel his heart pounding, a beautiful rhythm that made her want to resonate with it. Feeling her weight, Ethan couldn't help but stroke her smooth cheek. Lily purred, placing her hand over his, a look of pure bliss on her face. You're so cute, Lily. Like a little kitten. Purr, purr. Hey, Don't make those weird noises. But do you like it, Ethan? I like it. That's not what I meant. Lily arched her back, bringing her face close to his. You're so dishonest, Ethan, she whispered seductively. But I like it that way. Her words sent a jolt of desire through him. Who could possibly resist this? Even a saint would sin for this. I renounce my vows. Ethan wrapped his arm around her supple waist and gently laid her down on the bed. Meow. Lily let out a small cry as she landed on the soft mattress. Her dark hair fanned out around her face, framing her mesmerizing eyes. She looked so vulnerable and alluring that Ethan's heart hammered even harder. She stretched out her arms, her palms open, and wrapped them around his neck. Ethan, she whispered, I love you. Afterward, Lily sat up, paused for a moment, and then slowly got out of bed. She glanced at Ethan, whose eyes were vacant and dazed, and planted a soft kiss on his lips before padding barefoot into the next room. The door clicked shut behind her, plunging the room into darkness. We meet again, my darlings. A wicked smile played on Lily's lips as she pulled a large case out from under the bed. With practiced ease, she began to lay out an assortment of weapons. I hope you won't interfere in my life again. Isn't it better if we just remain strangers? After organizing her tools, she took a small, single-barreled spyglass from her bag. She opened a tiny crack in the curtains and zoomed in on the street below. She saw several large men scattered around the entrance to their building, pretending to be busy, but with their eyes all fixed on the front door. They're like persistent ghosts, she sneered. She scanned the area, finally spotting Scarlett Vance in a flower shop across the street, calmly sipping a coffee, clearly waiting for someone. TSK. Looks like there's no escape. Lily had planned to drug Ethan and take him to some unknown place where they could live in their own little world forever, but it seemed that wasn't an option anymore. Family? To Lily, the word was an absurd, hollow joke. If she had to name her family, there was only one person, Ethan. She closed the curtain and turned away. Time to make dinner for Ethan. What should I make today? I know, a chilled goji berry salad. Sir, madam, we've arrived at the airport. The bodyguard got out and opened the back door respectfully. Lena flinched. Mama, madam, you can't call me that. It was my request, Damien whispered in her ear. Any objections? Not right now, you can't. MMPH. How about now? No, MMPH. All good. MMM. Damien grinned as he watched a red-faced Lena scurry out of the car. My Lena is so cute. Once we get Lily back, I can finally marry her. I can't wait. As Lena ran up the stairs to the private jet, Damien turned to the bodyguard behind him. Keep a close eye on every move the Ainsworth family makes. I don't want any surprises. Yes, sir. After a moment, Lena poked her head out of the jet, wondering why Damien hadn't followed. Suddenly, a figure blocked her view. Oh, excuse me, huh? Damien. He lifted her chin, a playful glint in his eye. What's this? Thinking of making a run for it. No, I just didn't see you coming, and I thought something might have happened. So, Mylena was worried about me. Of course not, she pouted, turning her head away. Who cares about you? Mylena is so dishonest, he purred before sweeping her up into his arms. The sudden movement startled her, and she quickly grabbed onto his collar. Realizing it was just one of his pranks, she pounded his chest playfully. You idiot. Lena wrapped her arms around Damien's neck to keep from falling. Damien, put me down. Of course. I'll put Mylena down right away. Damien closed the cabin door, carried her inside, and stopped in front of a wide, plush seating area. Lena looked around. The seats on the private jet were enormous, more like small beds with luxurious cushions. Damien set her down on one of the cushioned seats and slowly pulled down the window shade. See? You're down. I didn't mean put me down here. Let me up, The roar of the engines intensified, and the private jet taxied down the runway before lifting gracefully into the clouds. Water! Water! Ethan's eyes fluttered open, his throat parched. He looked around and realized Lily wasn't beside him. He slid to the edge of the bed, used the nightstand to steady himself, and slowly made his way to the living room. He found Lily in the kitchen, wearing an apron, cooking something on the stove. Oh, she said, turning around. Ethan, you're awake. I just finished cooking. Let's eat. Thanks, Lily. But, could you give me some water first? My throat is so dry. As he spoke, Ethan noticed something was a little off about her outfit. Okay. Lily filled a glass from the water dispenser and brought it to him. Thanks. Ethan took the glass and tilted his head back, gulping down the water. He suddenly noticed the playful look in Lily's eyes. When he lowered the glass and got a full view of her, he froze. Her apron was unique. To put it simply, she was wearing nothing but the apron. Cough, cough. He choked on his water, coughing violently as he pointed a trembling finger at her. What? What are you wearing? That's dangerous. Meow. Lily tilted her head, feigning innocence. Don't play dumb. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't you have to wear an apron when you cook? She asked, leaning forward. Ethan's eyes were drawn to the gentle sway of the apron strings. He swallowed hard. Go get changed. Fine. You're no fun, Ethan. She untied the apron strings and pressed her body against his. Eek. He flinched as she hugged him tightly, her face flushed. So, Ethan, she whispered, do you want to eat dinner first? Or eat me? Ethan gulped, his eyes lighting up as he stared at her. He swept her up and carried her to the sofa. The intensity of his gaze made even a seasoned veteran like Lily blush. Lily, is there any milk left in the fridge? I think we're out. I see. We'll have to go buy some later then. Zoe, you're a college student and you're still buying Dino Sips? What's so good about them? Leo King shook his can of coconut milk before taking a big gulp. Zoe Reed glared at him. You wouldn't understand. It's called reliving your childhood. TCH, you just mean you haven't grown up yet. Leo, you can sleep in the hallway tonight. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Was it good, Ethan? Lily, can we please not have goji berries again? Ethan forced down the last spoonful, trying to ignore the unpleasant taste. Still, he could taste a faint, milky sweetness lingering in his mouth. Well, there's something else you could eat. Anything. Just no more goji berries. You said it, Ethan. Lily stood up, opened a lower cabinet of the fridge, and pulled out a long bullwhip. Wait a minute. Ethan yelped. When did that get in there? I asked the butcher to throw it in when I bought the steak last week. What do you think, Ethan? Looks tempting, right? No. Ethan shoved the cabinet door shut. Actually, now that I think about it, the taste of goji berries isn't so bad. Oh, okay. Lily pouted with mock disappointment. But if you ever want to try it. Never. All right, then. She closed the fridge with a sad little sigh, but her mind was already scheming about when she could sneak a little of her special ingredient into his food. Between Lily's good intentions and her earnest, pleading eyes, Ethan had no choice but to dutifully clean his plate. Lily looked at the empty dish with satisfaction. Do you want some more, Ethan? I can make more if you're still hungry. No, I'm full, Lily. Totally stuffed, he said, forcing a stiff smile. Okay, then. As Lily's back was turned, Ethan sighed and sank onto the sofa. Nothing to do. Might as well watch some TV. He grabbed the remote and turned it on. The first channel that came up was Animal Planet. Spring has arrived, and across the savannah. Click. Ethan slammed the power button, his eyes wide with horror as he stared at the blank screen. Please don't let her have heard that. He peeked to his right. Lily was gone from the kitchen. Huh, she's not there. Could she be? His head turned robotically, like an unoiled gear to the other side. The right side of the room was empty. He said out loud. Maybe she just went somewhere else. I guess I'm just being paranoid. Living with Lily meant constantly expecting the unexpected. Seeing no sign of her, he cautiously turned the TV back on and flipped to a movie channel. It was a commercial for milk. Milk! Ethan's face flushed as he remembered what had happened earlier. He hung his head. Suddenly, a head of dark hair popped up from the space under the sofa. Ah! He screamed, jumping a foot in the air. You let your guard down, Ethan, Lily giggled. Her body moved with the fluid grace of a snake as she slithered out from under the sofa and knelt in front of him. Lily, what? What were you doing under the sofa? Because, she purred, I want to drink some milk. Boom. With a deafening roar, a small private jet touched down on the tarmac. The wheels screeched as the plane decelerated, finally coming to a stop on the runway. The cabin door hissed open. Damian Blackwood stood up from his seat, smoothing the wrinkles from his suit. Lena, aren't you getting up? Or have you grown attached to this place? Ugh. Lena shot him a glare, her hands trembling as she slowly put on her coat. She stood up shakily, like an old woman. It seems my Lena needs more exercise, Damian teased. Just get out of here, you. Lena said, flushing with anger as she pushed him toward the exit. As they disembarked, a black sedan was already waiting. A man in a dark suit got out and opened the door. Sir, this way, please. Damian nodded and helped a flustered Lena into the car. Inside, she clutched her chest, her anxiety palpable. Lena, what's wrong? Damian, what if Lily hates me? She must hate me so much. Don't worry. Even if she's not willing, I'll just tie her up and, you know what? Never mind. I never asked. Lena rolled her eyes at him. This man has absolutely no emotional intelligence. She turned to stare out the window, lost in thought. Meanwhile, Ethan was lying on the sofa, scrolling through videos on his phone. Beside him, Lily was sitting cross-legged, watching TV. We'll be right back after these messages. As the credits rolled on Fuzzy Lamb versus the Shadow Wolf, the Phantom Menace 2, Lily's attention shifted to Ethan. "What are you doing, Ethan?" she cooed, flopping on his chest to get a better look. "Ahem." Ethan quickly locked his phone and pinched her cheek. "Just scrolling through videos." "Oh, I see." She nodded, then, with a lightning-fast movement, snatched the phone from his grasp. "Lily, don't." Ethan scrambled to get it back, but she had already anticipated his move, leaning back on the sofa. She expertly typed in his password, and the screen lit up. "Pay attention. The man in front of you is named Sora, and he has a beautiful younger sister named Yasuga. Today, in the entryway." Ethan's body went completely rigid. After a long moment, he finally spoke. "Lily, I just accidentally scrolled to that. I absolutely was not trying to watch it. But why is it in your favorites? Did you accidentally tap that too? It's not impossible. Then what about this comment?" Lily held the phone up in front of his face. There in the comment section was a single, glaring entry. "I, Ethan White, am watching this in my real name." "So, Ethan likes this sort of thing," Lily purred, now sitting on his stomach, her eyes narrowed. "Do you want me to call you Big Brother? Or do you prefer?" The entryway. Knock, knock, knock. A soft knock came from the front door. Saved. Ethan quickly grabbed Lily by the waist, set her down on the sofa, and scrambled to put on his slippers. "I'll get it," he yelped, fleeing the scene. Lily sat on the sofa, her fingernails digging slightly into her palms. "So, they're finally here." The door swung open, revealing 3 people standing in the hallway. 10 minutes earlier. The car door closed with a solid thud. Damien stepped out, taking Lena's hand. "Lena." Scarlett Vance ran out of a flower shop, linking her arm with Lena's while shooting a death glare at Damien. He frowned and glanced at a bystander, who immediately stood up straight. "Sir, what's the situation?" "Sir, the kid is in this apartment building. We have the entire building locked down. There's no way he can slip out." "Good. I understand. Lena, are you okay?" Scarlett asked, her voice full of concern as she examined her friend's hands. "I'm fine. Damien has been good to me," Lena said. It wasn't a curse or a complaint, but his actual name, spoken with a strange calmness. Scarlett was stunned. She pointed a finger at her. "You're not Lena. Who are you?" Lena sighed and leaned in to whisper in Scarlett's ear. "I still remember a certain girl who had a thing for teddy bear underwear 10 years ago." Okay, that's enough." Scarlett's face turned bright red as she cut her off. "If you're really you, then why are you being so with him?" "Because I want a happy family," Lena said softly, gazing at the apartment building. "I'm telling you, Lena, you're too nice. And your family is horrible. When you've been rained on yourself, you just want to hold an umbrella for others," Lena said with a sad smile, looking for a moment like the carefree girl she used to be. "Lena, come on, let's go up. I can't wait to see Lily." "Okay. By the way, Lily looks exactly like you did when you were a kid." Just then, a hand reached out and pulled Scarlett away, separating her from Lena. "Damien, Blackwood," Scarlett roared. "Please stay away from my wife." "Thank you." Damien put his arm around Lena, as if staking his claim. He then walked shoulder to shoulder with her into the building. Scarlett glared daggers at his back, but with a helpless sigh, she followed them inside.